All right, welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily on Oh So Curious. We have some breaking news to get into right off the top of the show. As I was perusing for some last minute piece of news, because I always look for them before we start the show, and sometimes we find some good stuff. And in fact, today I came across the news that we have now officially got ourselves a brand new director for the next James Bond movie. Ow, I just bit my tongue. The next James Bond movie from Amazon MGM. And we will dive into that. We will talk about 28 years later. Liz is here to give her review. John will give his thoughts. And we will talk about some trailers. The Fantastic Four, First Steps, final trailer is out today. Superman, finishing up its visit to Rio de Janeiro. We will go over all of that. We have some reporting. It's rumors, believe it if you might, but we'll talk about maybe the relationship between Krypto and Supergirl may go a lot further back than their time on Earth. They might have grown up together on Krypton, and there's more to it than that. So we will talk about that, see how all that ties into Superman. Of course, we have the quick hits today, and beyond that, we'll get into lots more Superman news because they've got an infinite amount of merchandise that they're going to be promoting and continuing to promote. So we'll dive into all of that and so much more. To do that, let me hit that news intro and get the show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the...
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, we've got a packed show for you guys. I just realized the music from the intro is already, still playing. Well, there you go. We can turn that off. But yeah, we have a packed show today. And with me for the show today, I've got Liz. How are you doing? How was your day?
I'm great, gang. Let's be pals. Breaking news. Breaking news. I'm so excited to talk about the breaking news. Wah, 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 wah,
you know what? Let's do it. Let's give it the breaking news treatment because indeed we have some breaking news, everybody.
Holy shnikey.
We know who's directing the next James Bond movie. That's
Denis.
right. Denis Villeneuve, the director of the Dune franchise, Blade Runner 2049. The man has done such good work.
And Boyfriend took home a big old bag for this deal.
They probably backed up the Brinks truck all the way to his house.
I'm telling you what.
Found him wherever he is in the deserts
him.
of Bahrain or wherever he's filming the next Dune movie.
Right.
And asked him to come on board. This is great news because I know that I wish John was here because he is not the biggest fan of the idea that Amazon now controls the rights and the creative.
Nor am I. And that was my number one question for you, Dan, when we were talking about this off chat. I said, okay, here's the problem. Is Denis going to get to do what he wants? Because he says in this article he wants to be true to 007. 007 was a huge part of his childhood growing up. He says he wants to honor the franchise. He wants to do it right. Will the studio let him? Will the powers that be let him just do his thing and take the franchise to where he believes it should continue on to go? We'll see what happens, but this is wild. I was not expecting this.
I'm like, today the NBA draft is happening as we are live, and I've seen trade news and players switching teams and picks being traded, and it's obviously anytime the NBA and NFL in their off season, you get activity like that. It's a very busy news cycle as is, but in the world of movies, this takes the cake. I don't think there's been a bigger piece of news that we have seen all day. And yes, hello, Ron. You're asking if this is confirmed. Indeed, like Liz told you in the chat, this is confirmed. This is coming to us from Deadline, and they're saying that Denis Villeneuve will be directing the next James Bond movie, and this is because there was an Amazon MGM press release sent out. So this comes directly from the source, from Amazon MGM themselves. In fact, I have some quotes here that I want to get into as well from Amazon MGM, from the representatives from the Amy Pascal and David Heyman, I think it is, the two producers who are leading the charge for the franchise over at Amazon, as well as Denis Villeneuve himself, talking about why he's signed up for this. So this is an announcement that happened literally within the last few hours from when we were doing this live. Of course, like I mentioned, Amy Pascal, David Heyman will produce, and Tanya Lapointe is exec producing. You have Villeneuve, who of course currently is in the process of, I think he's still prepping, or I don't remember if he's already started filming, Dune Messiah. So he's working on that. But he was one of the high-profile, directors that were rumored. We knew there was a short list potentially. The other names were, Edward Berger, Edgar Wright, Jonathan Nolan, Paul King. But, out of all the ones that were rumored, Denis Villeneuve comes out on top, and I don't know if they could have made a better pick, considering especially the run that he's on right now. And hello, Marco, to you in the chat. You've joined in just in time. We're talking about how Denis Villeneuve is now officially set to direct the next James Bond movie, which going in a different direction. I mean, you look at the options there. Each of them would have brought something different to the table. There was a sense, according to Deadline, that Alfonso Cuarón, who's worked with David Heyman quite often in the past, including the Harry Potter franchise, might be taking on the gig. But ultimately they decided to go with Villeneuve. Of course, we know Barbara Broccoli, Michael G. Wilson, sold their creative interest or creative control of the franchise to Amazon MGM. They still have financial, they're still financially vested in the franchise. So the Broccoli's will still benefit and profit off the Bond franchise, but Amazon MGM basically functionally controls it. And so this was firmly a decision by Amazon MGM and, Amy Pascal, David Heyman, the two producers. Liz, I do want to get your take on a little bit more about, what do you expect from a Bond movie directed by Denis Villeneuve? Maybe who Denis Villeneuve might want as his Bond, but we will get into that in a second. I
completely agree with you, Ron. I agree with you there. Not that he's a bad director, of course, but he has a very specific wheelhouse. He does things in a very specific way. I don't think it would work for that franchise, not at all. Denis, he's done a lot of really unique projects, so it'll be interesting, especially given what he has said about being a diehard Bond fan, about Bond being something that is kind of sacred to him because he grew up with it. 007 was huge in his life, as I said it before. But so it's interesting to see, he, like he said, he wants to remain true to the Bond that we all know and love. He wants to remain true to the story. So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited about. I really am. I'm excited. I'm as skeptical as John. I was really disappointed to hear that Amazon essentially had taken over. But hearing this, maybe there's a glimmer of hope somewhere.
Yeah. I do want to read the statement from Villeneuve, what he said about the project, because I think it's kind of significant, describing his love for Bond, which obviously you want the director to really love the franchise. I mean, it doesn't always work out that if you're a super fan of the franchise, you get to direct that, it will be a good movie, but more times than not, it's a good idea. So, Denis Villeneuve said, some of my earliest movie-going memories are connected to 007. I grew up watching James Bond films with my father ever since Dr. No with Sean Connery. I'm a diehard Bond fan, like you said, Liz. That's from the man himself. He's a diehard fan of the franchise, saying, to me, he's sacred territory. I intend to honor the tradition and open the path for many new missions to come. This is a massive responsibility, but also incredibly exciting for me and a huge honor. Amy, David, and I are absolutely thrilled to bring him back to the screen, to bring Bond back to the screen. Denis Villeneuve saying thank you to Amazon MGM Studios for their trust. And then also from Amazon MGM side, the head of Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios, Mike Hopkins, said, we are honored that Denis has agreed to direct James Bond's next chapter. Pascal and Heyman added a joint statement saying Denis Villeneuve has been in love with James Bond movies since he was a little boy. It was always his dream to make this movie, and it's ours too. We are lucky to be in the hands of this extraordinary filmmaker. So all of these statements, obviously, looking forward to the next era of Bond. I know, right? I mean, that's most likely what's going to happen.
It's true. And they did say, right now he's fully enveloped in Dune 3. Dune 3 is going to happen before we really get any more set news about whatever upcoming Bond that we're going to get, whatever the iteration is going to be. But I would assume that they're going to be, while he's working on Dune, they are going to be in the process of trying to sign actors and getting the writing going and all of that kind of thing. So, well, again, it's anybody's guess what's really going to happen at the end here, but it's this is pretty exciting.
So I do before we kind of, because obviously this is breaking news and we're just reacting to this. So yeah, the initial reaction is they couldn't have gone with a better pick even from the short list that they had. Denis Villeneuve certainly has the accolades and he's got the box office pedigree, even though it's not like he's made many billion-dollar movies. He's got a very successful Dune franchise he's continuing to oversee even once he steps away from the director's chair. But from a critic standpoint, he's a great director. He's doing great work. He's working right now on Dune 3. But Liz, for most people, now that they have a director for this movie, they would wonder, okay, so traditionally, the Broccoli's would introduce the next Bond every time, right? They do the press conference, they trot out Daniel Craig or Roger Moore or Pierce Brosnan, like here's our next Bond. And now that the Broccoli's are not really out there, maybe they will symbolically be part of that announcement still, and they might still be out there publicly facing, but they're not the ones making the decision. So bringing in Denis Villeneuve, I wonder if you want to speculate, Liz, or maybe if you have a couple of names in mind, or like given maybe even like who Denis Villeneuve has worked with before, or the fact that he's a huge fan of the franchise, who he might have in mind for the next Bond, because that's what most people will be asking now.
Yeah,
you've got a director, you've got your producers. We know Amazon's going to throw all the money in the world at it. Who would they pick to be the next Bond, especially because now Denis Villeneuve, I imagine, will have a say in that process. So who would be your pick, or maybe even if you have a few names in mind, like who would you say Denis Villeneuve should cast?
Well, again, so this is the question, right? It's the question of how much will the studio let him do? How much is the studio going to be taking on themselves? We've already had a number of names thrown out there. I still believe Aaron Taylor Johnson is still the number one pick as of right now, especially because he's come out in those watch ads and historically that's kind of the way things are going. And I don't expect Denis would have a problem with that necessarily. He is a for him right now. He's pretty much everywhere. I mean, he's in 28 Years Later right now. But I feel like that's still going to be a studio decision. Yes, maybe he can throw out some names of people he might have worked with in the past that he thinks would be good for these roles. But at the end of the day, I think they're still going to stick with someone who is British. And I think they already have an idea in mind as to who they want for this. So hopefully it all works out. Marco, that was the first thing I thought was Timothée Chalamet, but we all know for a fact that he's just not right for Bond. And I don't think Denis would make that mistake. And I do apologize. I don't know what's been going on with the camera lately with the autofocus. Yeah. There's really not a whole lot that I can do here. So we got to live with it, gang. I apologize in advance. But anyway, so I'm really not sure. But my heart of hearts is telling me the studio has pretty much narrowed it down. Maybe they've got like one or two names that they're thinking of, and I'm sure they have to work out would the scheduling fit, all of that kind of stuff. But right now that we have a director, I think the focus is now going to shift to a script and a story and which Bond, story we're going to be telling this time around. I think that's where the attention's going to go at this point. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I was going to say, Timothée Chalamet is probably not the best.
No.
But do you think they go with they're going to pick with a British actor, right?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. They're never swaying from that. I know they've said it historically, but there's just no way. He's a British character. It's always going to be a British actor that plays him.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson's British, right? He is. He
could. I think this might need to be like a fan casting situation for us. I think we need to throw, because I know John is very specific on his requirements and what he wants in a Bond. You and I both have our own ideas. I think that would be a really interesting conversation to have.
Jordan saying Aaron Pierre looks like a good Bond candidate. He's already been a trip. Yeah, I mean John. You haven't seen him yet as John Stewart, but everything we've seen so far about his preparation for that looks great. By the way, hello Steven. Jordan suggesting Aaron Pierre. Timothée Chalamet, I think, firmly is out of the unless
there's no way. There's no possible way.
It's gonna be almost heresy if they decide to go with.
And he's not British anyway, so that right there takes him out.
Like, yeah, they can't pick a non.
I also don't think he meets the height requirements. I don't think he's that. I mean, maybe.
Well, no, I mean,
I don't know.
Hey, what was I gonna say? Daniel Craig isn't a particularly tall person.
He's only 5'10". There's no way Timothée Chalamet is making the cut.
Yeah, but I would think Robert Pattinson's probably in the running at this point, considering what he's been up to.
Okay, Daniel Craig is 5'10", but he's British, so.
I want to put out I keep putting out the name before. Liz, do you watch Slow Horses?
No, but I am aware.
Apple TV Plus. So you know there's an actor on there, Jack Lowden. He's Scottish, you know, checks off the box. Yep. He plays, I think, the perfect character to become.
I like him a lot. I do like him a lot, Bond. And I could absolutely see him playing that role. That would be great for sure. Yeah. Again, we've got to do a fan casting. We don't need to be spending the whole night on this conversation, but yeah, I mean, it's wild. It's wild. Like this was not the news I was expecting to talk about today. So this is
no,
just
not
really
at all.
Cool.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve directing that. It's official from Amazon MGM themselves. Amazon MGM Studios sent out a press release, and Deadline has the article. Every other trade is carrying the story. It's the story of the hour. Denis Villeneuve, coming off of the Dune movies, will be directing the next 007.
And they
James
bring
Bond
Daniel
movie.
Craig back. I think he himself has said he's done. It's getting. I think it's getting too physical for him. He has said. You know, he's fine to not be running.
He's suffered several major injuries over the course of his run with the franchise. Yeah. By the way, hello,
and yes,
Fiona.
Steven, this is going to happen after the third and final Dune film. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Holland could. Well, I don't know.
No, now I have to look up I think he's even shorter.
He's even short. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if I don't think the height will be the
5'8", babe. There's no way. Yes, it does matter. You and I both know it matters. There's no way. Tom Hiddleston.
No, I genuinely think.
I don't know. I don't picture Bond being particularly slight. It would have to be
fair. Like
he's got to be a thicker guy.
Thicker guy.
But no, I like Jack Lowden a lot. I like that thought. I know Tom Hardy's been thrown out there before. Henry Cavill obviously has been thrown out there before. Idris Elba's been thrown out there before.
Tom Hardy might be also in the same situation where he's got a lot of mileage on his body with like physical roles that have been
and he does the MMA and all that stuff too. So you know, and the tight, what is it, Muay Thai and all that stuff. But I like
he's in Mobland right now.
Yeah. Know? I mean, Jack O'Connell, I've been talking about him a lot lately. We've been seeing a lot of him. Could be a possibility as well. He is one handsome individual. But anyway, let's move along. Yeah. We got so excited about this breaking news. So we had to share. This is wild.
Yeah.
Just wild.
Wild indeed. Guys, again, just to kind of review, Denis Villeneuve is officially
Jack O'Connell's only 5'7". Wow.
Fiona suggesting Taz Skylar. I don't know if you're being serious about that, Fiona, but I don't know. I'm not very familiar with Taz Skylar's work, although I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, hey, Nico's in the chat. Hello. We're gonna do the next tier list. I think we should do.
Ooh, apparently there's controversy with Taz Skylar, so I doubt that's gonna happen.
I mean, he needs to be under 30. I think that's a good idea because you want to have him carry the franchise for
a couple of years,
or more. Although you could start with an older actor because again, I mean, nowadays like 40 is the new 30 in a lot of ways. So like if they do cast a Henry Cavill, I don't think they're doing anything wrong. Idris Elba, I still wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility because even if you get a trilogy and then move on, because I bet you with Denis Villeneuve coming in, he might want to do a trilogy and that's all he wants to do. So and then after that, they might recast. Who knows? We don't know the long-term plans. But guys, overall, the big news right now is that we have a new director for the next James Bond movie under Amazon MGM Studios. And they've selected Denis Villeneuve for the job. Of course, he's currently working on Dune Messiah. So after that, I'm guessing that the next project he'll be taken on will be the next James Bond movie. So we have our new 007 director. Now the question becomes, who's going to be the new Bond? And you guys can get in the comments down below. Let us know. What do you think about the pick? Is Denis Villeneuve the right fit for the job as well? We'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure we'll be doing a fan casting on this coming up soon. So be sure to stay tuned in on the channel and drop in the comments below. Let us know what you think. right now, we're going to move on to the next thing here, Liz. We do have a bunch more stuff to talk about. One of the things that we want to get into is we can never have nice things. Yeah, Fiona's talking about Taz Skylar. It looks like Liz dug up some dirt. So there you go.
Sorry.
But Aaron Taylor Johnson was a good pick too, like you mentioned, Liz, potentially. He's already got the deal with the watchmaker. You're not wrong. I mean, if that is a predictor of anything, then Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I still think he's the front runner. I mean, to quote Mugatu, he's so hot right now. It's just, like it's just it's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Yep. Well, all right, let's keep the ball rolling here. So the next thing we have to talk about is essentially the box office for the upcoming weekend, because we have some predictions now. And according to the current tracking, F1 is set to leave Megan 2.0 in the dust with a high-octane $40 to $50 million US opening.
I mean,
I love all the verbiage.
That's not a stretch, though. Like, it's not.
But it's not, like you said, it's not all that surprising, because F1 is the bigger movie. I mean, certainly by budget, it blows Megan 2.0 out of the water, but also by market expectation, I think it's pretty good as well. Apple themselves are being a bit more conservative, though, and Warner Brothers saying that they're the ones distributing the movie on behalf of Apple. They're looking somewhere in the high 30s, but the industry tracking is showing 40 to 50 million. So you look at that and you look at Megan 2.0. Megan 2.0 doesn't need to make nearly as much to be profitable. No. It's a much smaller, threshold that it needs to cross. So even if it makes half as much, I believe it will be good and in a good position to succeed. And quite frankly, the trailers are so good. I mean, I'm sure people can go see both movies in the same weekend if they really wanted to.
Lord knows I'll be doing that. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, look, John, literally, the reason why he's not on the show is because he's gone to see F1. So I'm excited to see what he has to say about it. But yeah, what I was saying earlier about the news of like the next Bond. I mean, Damson Idris, or Damon Idris. I'm not sure. Is it Damson Idris? I think he's the one playing the young race car driver on the team that Brad Pitt comes and joins in the movie in F1. He could be a good Bond candidate as well, I think.
Yeah.
So he could potentially, I mean, and yeah, Denis Villeneuve, I'm sure, would be open to the idea.
He is British. Let's look up his height, because that's important to some people.
I think it's important to John.
He's 6'1". He makes the cut, gang. He makes the cut. Nice. For sure. Cool.
Yeah,
no, I like it.
Megan 2.0 has been doing all the right things with the marketing, and
the marketing has been phenomenal. Honestly, I really take my hat off, because they know what they're doing for sure.
But you look at the worldwide numbers.
I almost feel like I'm almost predicting, like, some movie theaters, we're going to get rid of the Thunderbolts Wheaties box, Dandy, and we're going to get the Megan in the like delivery Barbie.
Yes.
In my theater, I'm punching it for sure, but they've been wild with the marketing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and to that end, F1 is set to debut to over $115 million worldwide. So domestically 40 to 50, worldwide 115 plus, which would be one of the biggest openings of the year for any movie. And Megan looking at around 20 million. So again, very respectable. But again, that movie franchise does not need to make nearly as much money as F1, which supposedly had a cost of over $400 million plus marketing. So the Brad Pitt-led movie needs to do a lot more to make that money back. I mean, although Apple, I'm sure, is not too worried about profitability. They just want a really good hit. Like, if this movie makes like $500 million or more, Apple will be happy. They won't care if it actually made the money or not, because Apple's not here to do that just yet. They want to be a respectable player in the theatrical market, because so far they've not succeeded on that level. Like, whether it was Argyle sucked, Napoleon didn't quite hit, and even though, what was the Scorsese movie that they did, Killers of the Flower Moon? Great movie.
Well, the problem is a lot of them are they're too long too. Killers of the Flower Moon, I know a lot of people say no, he did right by the story and but some people don't. Again, we don't have that attention span anymore as a society. I had no problem with Killers of the Flower Moon, but when people see 3 hours as the running time, they make other choices. That's just the bottom line.
Yep. Yeah, we got a new viewer in the chat. It's Alex. To answer your question, the new footage from Superman. We're going to get into that right after this topic, actually, or right after we finish talking about the box office. We're going to talk about Superman, so do stick around for that. And then later on, we have other, a movie review and a few other things coming up, like we're reacting to the Fantastic Four trailer. But yeah, as you were saying, Liz, this movie looks like it's set to get off the starting line, as the pun goes, and do quite well for itself. In fact,
yeah,
I know you're all lovers and connoisseurs.
They're doing well with their marketing too. They're doing really well with the marketing.
Exactly. And to that point, I mean, this is coming straight from the promotions HQ of F1 the movie. We are all connoisseurs of great popcorn buckets, Liz, and you brought this to our attention yesterday. So here we go.
Look, it's killing me because I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need another helmet. I'm not a race car person. I'm not an F1 person, but it looks so fucking good. I'm in trouble, gang. That's all I can say. And I guarantee you this is probably at least $40, if not $50.
Probably. They will upcharge the hell out of it.
There's also a silver one. So there's a gold one and there's a silver one. I'm assuming it's the two main characters of the film with their names on the side, whatever. But you guys need to pray for me because I'm struggling on this one. I really am.
Well, Manolo already saw F1 and he loved it. I mean, I think John loved it too. In fact,
I'm really looking forward to it.
I think I texted John earlier. And he said that he enjoyed it. We're gonna get more detailed comments from him when he's next on the show. But Liz, you can also get the pit stop combo over at Regal, so you can get a bunch of snacks. I don't know how this relates to the movie.
It's just
but
it looks like any other snack. Nothing special.
I have a few other things like there's a Triple Crown offer for IMAX. I know I'm getting the Apple Pay exclusive offer every time I go into my Apple Pay app, so there's that. Also, Liz, there was this other popcorn bucket I came across, the one that the other one you sent.
This is awful.
This is great.
Is like a brick.
I'm like, does that lid like move, or like the visor, or
it's a 3D printed hunk of solid plastic. I think it looks god awful personally, but hey, I'm not going to tell y'all how to spend your hard-earned dollars, except for at the movies. Go see Elio, don't go see Brightheart. But
no, I don't think anybody is, but
no, I'll do the AMC buckets if I do any at all. I'm trying so hard to resist, but yeah, you can miss me on that one.
5 Ash is here. Why the hell does the thing have a beard? You know what? Liz and I were talking about that before the show, 5 Ash, and when we talk about the trailer,
we'll get to it. We will get to it.
Trust
me,
we will
get
to it.
It's
because
so
we
bizarre.
have other questions about the thing's anatomy. But I mean, okay, so the big thing here with the box office this weekend, it looks like F1 is going to get off to a really good start, over 115 million worldwide. They're expecting 40 to 50 million domestically, and then it's going to get, race far ahead of Megan 2.0. But Megan 2.0 also is set to kick off to, as much as 20 million worldwide. So F1 doing the business. I mean, like you guys have been saying in the chat, it's a great look for Warner Brothers, who haven't made the movie, but they are the ones marketing it and distributing it. So they will get a certain portion of the box office. And a year where, with Elio failing, Snow White not doing so well, Disney's had its bumps, but Warner Brothers seems to be
failing.
on a winning
just
streak.
Came out. Give it some time.
I know.
Give it some time.
I know. But it's the lowest opening of any Pixar movie ever. Lower than even the 1995 Toy Story. But anyway, I'm just gonna say
there is a list of all 29 Pixar films ranked, and I'm happy to say that it's not the lowest of the low, so that for quality's sake, that's okay. Not that I agree with the entire ranking of that list, but
yeah. Well, maybe we need to do a tier list there. Yeah. But anyway, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you think about the box office projections for this weekend for F1. If you've already seen it, get in the comments down below. Let us know what you thought about the movie, because we will bring your comments in on Friday's show for the Q&A session. John has gone to see the movie today, which is why he's not on the show. So he will come back to us and talk about it. Liz and I are both seeing it this weekend. A bunch of you guys have either seen it or already gonna see it. So let us know what you think about F1, and do you believe the numbers? Do you think that is an accurate projection? We'd love to hear from you. All right, so now let's get into some Superman news, Liz, because we do have a ton of Superman marketing and promotion stuff. Now, this is, of course, DCU Daily, so we later on in the show will have even more details about Supergirl, Krypto, and more Superman. But right now, I want to get into some of the new footage they've put out. I want to get into some of the new posters they've been putting out. International marketing. There's a lot of merchandise that they're putting out there. So let's start with something that James Gunn posted, which is he said he's excited to bring Superman to my friends in China. So this is the Chinese poster. It's firmly different than any poster we have seen to this point. And like you said, Liz, it is amazing. It is great. What are your thoughts on this? the artwork is completely unique to anything else that we have seen from this movie.
I mean, when we first saw it the other day, I said to you that he looks a lot like Christopher Reeve in this, which I know whether that's what they were going for or not. I just think it's just it's a hero shot of everybody. Everybody looks good in this bad boy. I hope that they, hope the folks in China get to take one of these home when they go see it in theaters, because it's really, really nice. I don't know who made it. I don't know if this is one that they're distributing throughout each theater, but damn, that's some fine work right there. I love that poster.
Yeah, even Metamorpho looking cool AF,
right? Yeah,
as James Gunn would put it, or sleek AF. I mean, speaking of Lex Luthor, he's right there. And the engineer, you see, we haven't really seen like that whole tentacle look coming out of her arm. Of course, the glowing aura of Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific's there. Krypto front and center, looking cute AF, and of course the rest of the Justice Gang there on the poster, and Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane. They've got Fortress of Solitude on the right, and then Metropolis Skyline on the left of the Luthor Corp building. So you've got all the key elements, the Daily Planet up front and center. I wish they also had an English version of this poster. I mean, I would hang the Chinese one too. I don't care. But I love overall, the look of this poster. And again, like I said, Liz, this is the most different poster that we have seen from any of the other marketing that they've put out for this movie. So yeah, I always appreciate the diversity of these things. But speaking of new footage, along with the Chinese poster, they did put out a new Chinese teaser trailer. So this is not like a full trailer, but it is over a minute long, and we get a closer look at the damage that the kaiju causes in the city. You can clearly see he's literally walking through streets and I guess coming out of the ground.
Seems to be having a good time.
Yeah, and it looks like it was at one point a baby kaiju that grows up to be a clearly too big to walking around a city as populous as Metropolis. We get some new shots from the interview scene, more poignant look at Lois Lane and of course Clark Kent himself. Then we get another look at that bridge sequence where Clark is literally holding up a building to save that woman who's stuck in her car. And then we get more of the fight sequence. Krypto, of course, lying on Clark, which looks like the bed that Clark grew up on and back in his Smallville home.
Absolutely.
You get more Lex Luthor in the fortress, looking maniacal AF. And then Liz, this shot here, look at this.
Yeah,
they're by the fountain, and I don't think that's meant to be Krypto. That's just like another dog.
Krypto. That is a dog that won't stop barking at him, and this was the shot of the ice breath we were talking about yesterday. He uses his ice breath to get the dog out of harm's way. He's like, dumb dog, I'm trying to help you out here, and the friggin' dog is not having it. So he's doing what he's got to do there. He's lucky he didn't get the laser eyes. It's all I can say. Fucking dog.
I mean, and he's going almost through the ground while he's. And we've seen this stuff, how they filmed it. Like, because when they filmed it, they just had like this metallic slab that two people are holding up. So, and then Superman flexing, of course. And we've seen behind the scenes photos for this, like as early as like last summer. This time last year, we were seeing them film this thing. And there's the ice spread, like you mentioned, Liz. This is how it all translates into the movie. And some of this shot, like the dog is real. I mean, I'm sure here the dog is not real. Like they're not gonna like toss a dog through the air, but they did have a real dog at one point.
Yeah.
More Superman flying in the air. We've got Super Breath confirmed, like Enterprising is saying in the chat. The Chinese trailer is pretty darn good, and it's a big market. It's a big market for this movie. So Jack Matthews in the chat saying no Ultraman. We will talk about an image that was posted for Ultraman by James Gunn himself in a second. So we will get to that as well. And hello to Jack in the chat. If you are new, then hit the subscribe button, at least hit the like button. We do appreciate that. We're doing this 5 days a week, so welcome on into the show. And this is great. I love that they're giving out these new bits and pieces. And in a world where the internet didn't exist, you wouldn't get to see this. But today we're so fortunate that they put this out for China. Good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we here in the US get to see it, and vice versa. So again, some of the footage is what we have seen before. I can't really read Chinese, so I can't tell you what that says. But you do get this shot, which is very
very classic, very
classic. It feels similar to like a Christopher Reeve. I can almost, if you wince, that looks like
100%.
And then you get this shot that we have seen in the trailer where he's fighting. I think that's Ultraman that he's hitting with that pipe. Lex Luthor not looking impressed. More shots with the kids. We saw this when they were filming it, and I think this was Cincinnati, right? The downtown, either Cincinnati or Cleveland. I want to say that's Cleveland. Or was it? No, it was Cincinnati they were filming this in. I remember the photos. So, by the way, hello to Manuel in the chat, saying this trailer looks good. Manuel has been around for a while. I don't know if you guys have crossed paths, but yeah, be sure to get acquainted there in the chat. Was it Cleveland M8? Because I feel like I remember this was Cincinnati. Maybe you're right. It's one of the two cities. That's where
they're both in Ohio, so it works out for everyone. It's fine.
The engineer just wrecking shop with all the robots,
dude.
but Krypto doesn't give in. Krypto, is there to stand his ground and fight for the fortress. Of course, in this we also get to see how the Daily Planet crew is in the T craft, and they're essentially going to be like, we're going to try to save Superman. So that's how they end up in that situation. And then Clark at one point ended in the Luthor Corp Tower, and he's like, look, my kindness is my strength. We get the wonky flying shots, which I'm still not sure about. Yeah, the rest of the footage is more of that kaiju extended sequence. Krypto and Superman sort of tag team. You can see Krypto on the left, Superman. They're both beating up the same LexCorp soldier who probably deserved it. But yeah, and we get more of Clark and Krypto in the fortress with the robots. I mean, we're getting an extended look that looked cute AF. I just love seeing more of this footage. I can't wait to see it in full glory.
This shot right here is really intriguing to me because I want to know who that figure is in the background.
That looks like one of the robots, though.
No, they've got some kind of outfit on. They've got some kind of like long coat or something. So I'm wondering, is that the engineer? Is that maybe a projection of his father in the Fortress of Solitude like we've seen before? Is that Lex Luthor coming in? I saw that and I was like, oh, wait a minute, there's somebody else in there. He's not alone. So I
want to say that's a robot.
It's not a robot.
It looks
not.
Like
no, dude, that is a menacing figure in the background.
I think it's a robot, but like I'll take your word for it.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see, Dan.
Where's John, Steven? Well, John is seeing F1 right now in a movie theater, so he will talk about it
as we speak
on the next show. Krypto does fly, Marco.
He does fly.
Yes, we see Krypto. I think there's a shot in here.
You brought the dog, man.
Yeah, right there. You see Krypto. Right, he takes the mask off the Luthor Corp soldier, and then Superman punches him.
What the goodest boy.
Look at that tag team
goodest boy.
Yep, it's great. I love this. This whole trailer. There's like 10 new shots in there that we haven't seen before,
including the menacing figure in the Fortress of Solitude.
It's a robot. All right, okay, but we'll let Liz believe what she wants to.
And I'm right. So
it's
who's wearing glasses and who has better than perfect vision?
Okay,
let's just start.
Somebody's saying Marco's saying is Batman. I mean, I'm sure
oh
Batman
my god, I'd die. I would fucking
find
die.
himself. I don't think we're getting Batman in this movie. Batman probably would be better at hiding his whereabouts if he was there. But anyway, James Gunn did post an image of Ultraman, and you see here it looks like he's taken a lot of damage from the version that we see that arrests Superman. Yeah. But it definitely lines up with the scene that we see in the tunnel where he uses the heat vision to kind of throw Superman further back in the tunnel. So Ultraman, it looks like whether this is his look when he wakes up from bedtime in the morning, or this is just after he's been in a fight or two. They're not giving away who's behind the mask. It might end up just being David Cornsweet because it's in the comics it's meant to be basically a clone of Superman. But this is oh, come on, Five Ash. But this is a great look at Ultraman. We haven't seen it at this up close and personal, especially with all the damage, because most of the public stuff we saw them film outdoors last year was before I guess this much damage happens to his costume, and his mask seems like it's almost off of his face. So we'll get to see more of that, I'm sure, in the movie. One of the other things I wanted to kind of quickly peruse through was reporting from the 30-minute screening of the movie. So this is in Portuguese, so I'm going to translate it because unless Marco wants to come on the show, I don't think I can read Portuguese. But remember yesterday, Liz, we talked about the movie kind of starts off with a bit of a crawl describing what the world is currently like in the DCU. And so it's similar to Star Wars in that effect. So that is confirmed with the people who have seen the first 30 minutes. And it looks like thankfully, most of the scenes in the movie's trailers that we have seen so far, they're saying here that they were pretty much all within the first 30 minutes. Like almost everything we see in the trailers is already in the first 30 minutes of the movie. So they've preserved basically anything in the second and third act. Are you surprised by that, Liz, considering the amount of stuff we've already seen? You'd imagine, I mean, there's more to come that we haven't seen yet. Is that a good thing, do you think? Or should they have given us more? I don't know. I mean, usually people don't want the whole movie spoiled, like, oh, Doomsday is in the movie and you give that away in the BVS trailer. But it looks like here they've only shown us stuff that's within the first 30 minutes of the film. That is amazing, because I'm like, there's a whole movie that we haven't seen yet. So not a lot of spoilers.
I mean, again, I've said this over and over again. Every time we get a teaser, every time we get a trailer, I have more questions than answers, which is great, because like you said, I don't want them to give the whole film away. So I think they're doing a pretty good idea. They're doing a pretty good job of kind of building up the excitement, but also not giving the whole thing away. I think that's great.
Perfect. And I mean, James Gunn over at Marvel knew how Marvel works. Marvel rarely gives away anything from the second and third act of the movie in their marketing, so they're doing the same here. The opening act only marks the beginning of the film, but also the kickoff of chapter 1 of the DCU, titled Gods and Monsters. So there's some phrasing in that opening crawl that kind of gives us a better idea of how this is all going to fit in the bigger picture of this universe. So that's great. James Gunn talked about, how this world, we pick it up a few years, and well, not just a few years into its existence, but heroes have been around for 300 years in this universe. Metahumans have been around for centuries, and Superman, even he's been there for a couple of years in the public eye. So we pick things up mid action rather than this being an origin story. So that's confirmed. They're saying that Lois and Clark are a major highlight of the opening of the movie, because we get that whole interview sequence that we have seen in the trailer. That's in the first 30 minutes. And of course, we have statements from both actors, David Cornsweet and Richard Brosnahan, from their trip to Rio. We'll get into more of that later. The other thing they mentioned is, despite the fact that this is a very different tone from Man of Steel, there are some messianic tones that are subtly present, which I guess, Superman being Superman, you can't really avoid that. I suppose, Liz, like, do you think that could be problematic? Because I mean, so far it looks like, they've only seen the first 30 minutes. So the question becomes, like, is this going to be more symbolic moving forward for the rest of the movie, or is it going to become very obvious that Superman is seen as a messianic figure, which was really leaned into with the Zack Snyder movies, but it seems like James Gunn, at least from what we have seen so far, isn't going in that direction?
I'm not exactly sure what this is asking. I'm not familiar with the term messianic, so I really don't know how to answer that appropriately.
Yeah. Well, we got Mr. Moody in the chat. Hello, Mr. Moody. Yes, I mean, James Gunn himself said, like, this is like year 3 Superman. I think we actually had a show titled around that when we got that statement from James Gunn. So, yeah. But I hope that we don't get those overtones, because, I mean, Man of Steel was a very different movie. I think it worked there. I don't know if it will work here. And then, just the differences, I should say, between the Zack Snyder, Richard Donner version of the stories versus here, you're getting a very different Superman. Metropolis here is
okay. I just looked up the definition of messianic. I think almost all superhero films fall into that trope, into that tone, where there is that interpretation, right? Because they are godlike, they are superior, they have these, these powers that only we can hope to possess. So it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we kind of had that tone with the Justice League, with Henry Cavill's Superman. We did have that a little bit with Christopher Reeve, but I think they had kind of tried to stay away from it, with getting too into the weeds with it. So it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we've seen it in Spider-Man. We've seen it in Batman. We have seen that before. So I can understand where one might draw that conclusion that could happen again this time around. He's supposed to be better than all of us, right? He's supposed to make decisions based on the greater good and for all, and not just for me, and that kind of thing. So, self-sacrifice is a regular undertone. We've seen it in I can understand why people would be, I don't know, concerned, but would assume that that's going to be something that we'll see over again. And it might be, but it makes sense when you consider, in the grand scheme of things, who these people are. So
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and messianic doesn't just mean like Jesus. Of course, it depends on there's many gods,
but
cultures,
just some holier,
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, good point by Manolo. I think Lex Luthor is going to play into the fear that people have of Superman, somebody as powerful as Superman. That's always been the case in most Lex Luthor stories. So it's going to be interesting to see, though. I think one distinction James Gunn said he's making in this movie, they're not going to ask the question with this movie, what if Superman existed in our world? He's saying this is an alternate Earth where there's a city called Metropolis. So they're not trying to make this as, hyper real as Man of Steel tried to do it. Which again, I mean, you can see that from all the trailers. The tone here is very different from what we saw in the DCEU. This universe is meant to be its own thing. It's fictional, and so they're not going to try to pretend like, oh, what about the real world? Although you can tell, like, there is some aspects of reality that do bleed in. Like, the Secretary of Defense has to look into his actions when he tries to interfere in the affairs of foreign countries. Which I'm like, okay, so that would happen in real life as well, potentially, but. The other thing I thought was very interesting, the last thing I want to look at here in this thread, is the fact that they're saying the blue filter was really gone. I know a lot of people were criticizing everything looks like it has a blue filter on it when the first couple of trailers came out. So it looks like, as we suspected, that was just because they slapped it on because they hadn't done finished the color grading. But it looks like when the final cut, the movie will not have that blue tint over a lot of the footage that we were seeing early on because they've been able to finish all the color work, and we're getting a much more defined color palette, and even some of the new trailers show that. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that. The visuals are going to match up with what people expect. And then, I mean, James Gunn, continuing to address the different questions that fans have out there. One of the things he mentioned, I think Lizz, you talked about this yesterday. People were asking him, is Lex Luthor going to scream, Miss Stassmacher, like in the movie? And James Gunn says, nope.
I don't know why I like it, but I like it, and I'm gonna be sad that he doesn't.
I mean, but he makes a point, like
his character. I mean, listen, I get it,
like,
but
you wouldn't call your girlfriend Miss in 2025.
But I also think it says something about the kind of man that would do that. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
That's a good counterpoint, but I mean, I guess they didn't think about that.
Because at the end of the day, I think she still is like his employee. So I don't know.
She's not a very good one because every time we see her, she's taking
awful.
photos of
she's
herself.
A bimbo, yeah, but that's the point. So I don't know. What? Oh well, it's a shame. I'm gonna miss it myself. That's all That's just my opinion.
All right. Well, the next thing that I want to get into was Tony's Barbershop. If you're subscribed to the Superman Daily Planet newsletter that they do on, I guess, like a broadcast channel on Instagram, one of the images they posted were Tony's Barbershop, the best shave in Metropolis. And this is the text that went along with it. It said, haven't you heard? Bowl cuts are in. Head on over to Tony's Barbershop to get a fresh cut that's out of this world.
I love it.
Yes, we do bowl cuts.
That's so funny.
I love how they're leaning into that whole situation. I'm like, yes.
Funny.
I want to see fans of Guy Gardner who come up to him with a bowl cut and want him to sign something for them. That would be amazing to see, and I'm sure Nathan Fillion will lean into that. So that would be hilarious. I just wanted to point this out because that whole thing on Instagram is amazing. They give you new images and insights or fan art like every day pretty much on Instagram if you signed up for that broadcast channel. But Lizz, let's talk about the merchandise. There's a new backpack out there from Loungefly. So this looks great. I love the detailing here personally. I don't know if I'll be carrying this around anywhere anytime soon, but WB Style says flying in hot with this one. So we've got a bunch of other things. You stop me wherever you feel like it, Lizz. You've got the Ferris wheel press pens.
I had no idea this was a thing. To me, I see this and the only word that comes to mind is bespoke, and I fucking hate that word. But I mean, okay.
I used to use fountain pens back in the day. So I know how to like refill and everything. The way you write with a fountain pen is such a unique experience to any other kind of pen you would work with.
100%.
I'm like, as a collector's item, even
very specific market.
Yes, I would love to get my hands on these. I mean, we have talked about these before in more detail here, But then Rain Spooner is also putting out new limited edition.
If John doesn't get this shirt, wouldn't John look great in this shirt, gang?
He would look great in this.
This is John all day. John.
And this
needs
is
to
only
get
one
this
of
shirt.
several designs. I saw that there's more designs than this. This is definitely a dad shirt. I'd love to get one. I think I would look great in
John.
this too.
I think that screams John all day. I would love to see John in that.
Ron wants the shirt. I mean, I'm sure you can check out Rain Spooner and where they have this. I think it's going to be coming out soon in this limited edition. So get your hands on it while you can. Monogram Collectibles put out some more swag here. So I think these
those are cute.
Like,
Krypto's super cute.
Yeah, like are these stickers or like these are back clips?
They're bag clips. Yeah.
Back clips. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the robot number 4 there.
When
as
there's
well
that
as
baby thing
the
or
Justice
whatever.
Gang, Baby Joey, Krypto, the Hammer of Baravia. You can collect them all if you like. I like
Krypto
these.
and
These
Superman
are
the cutest.
Lex
Well, Guy
looking
Gardner's
clean.
really good too.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And hey, maybe John will want to do this shirt, the Hot Topic sleeveless Superman logo shirt. That looks nice too, especially if you're heading to the beach nearby.
Yeah.
So, is that a vacation? I think you were talking about the Hawaiian shirt earlier there. But anyway, and we've got the official Green Lantern ring. This is
I don't know if I
collectible.
like it. I don't know if I like it.
Without the energy that powers the ring, it doesn't look as good, I suppose. But I mean, if you're good at creating VFX, then maybe you can film yourself and then
and I'm sure someone out there will. That's for sure. Yeah.
So I'm sure John will collect this. We know John already has a whole selection of all the different colors that they offer. So
how much is this bad boy? Do we know what the price on this one is?
I don't remember. I bet you it's probably a few $100, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity as well. Ron wants it. Ron wants it bad.
Go ahead, Ron.
These are
treat
literally
yourself.
like drugs. Like you can spend all your money on this merchandise.
Treat yourself, buddy.
And Liz, speaking of Connecticut represent from Norwalk, Connecticut. Oh,
I'm here. Hello there.
Hello,
John. We were just talking about you.
I thought that was the perfect time to come back in. Hello. I didn't think you guys would still be on, so that's why I was like, I might not show up, but here I am. In the
Here
blue.
you are.
Welcome into the show, John.
And John,
Welcome
you should
on
know
in.
better than that. We're gonna be here for hours.
I'm here. I didn't see Maverick tonight, but I did see the next best thing. So
hold on, I need to get mine out now.
Okay.
It's like I put mine away.
I'm not gonna say anything.
You guys, every time.
What? I haven't even put it on yet. Liz is like, I can't be a part of this.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
I'm just
for
gonna
me.
say this about F1. I won't spoil my thoughts as much as I can.
Yeah, we're talking about it on Monday.
Go see F1 on the biggest screen possible. Don't contribute to M3 Gunn, the death of cinema. Go see F1. I'll just leave it at that.
Very cool.
Great. I really can't see anything with these glasses
Damn
on.
glasses.
This is,
Neither can I.
Bums.
Yeah. All right. We gotta take them off so we can actually continue the conversation. Yeah. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. John is here.
Hold on. Hold on.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
You know, John, we did have your 28 years later review loaded up. I guess we'll save that for another time because you can tell us yourself. But did Brad Pitt drive fast? I'm sure he did, or at least they made it look like he did.
You guys.
Anyway, okay, we'll get into that later. So the merchandise here, I was gonna say, Norwalk, Connecticut. We're all from Connecticut here on the show, thankfully. But we do diversify. Like Bridget is from a different part of the country, like Angelina is on the West Coast. But hey, all three of us represent Connecticut, and Connecticut's very own Salesman Studios putting out some jewelry with Superman themed logos and such. You can get yourself a gold chain with the Superman symbol on there. That looks nice.
Get that for your dog, John.
That could be a good one. That could be a good one. Oh, you know what? That is a good question. Did he drive faster than Vin Diesel? There's nothing better.
I mean, here's the thing.
A
Brad
good ride
Pitt and
around
Vin
the track.
Diesel, both equally horrible people, but very enjoyable to watch on screen.
I don't know that Brad Pitt's a horrible person.
Well, he allegedly beat his wife and children, so we'll see.
Well, I didn't hear about
Allegedly.
that. I did hear about the
That's,
alcoholism, but anyway, we're not
All
even
right,
talking about
we're
any
getting
of that.
sidetracked. Talking
Yeah,
about
we're not even
Superman.
talking about any of that.
The jewelry is great. They also have some RSVLTS. I guess that stands for Roosevelt. They've got a Superman collection of shirts. John, we looked at a few shirts earlier that Liz thought would be a good fit for you. I mean, then you have
it would look
these
so
here.
nice in that like Hawaiian style shirt.
That looks like a bomber jacket. That's a great pattern shirt. More baseball jackets as well.
I mean, if I can fit my fat ass in it, then sure.
So supposedly the ring is $30, and it's
That's
a GameStop. It's a GameStop exclusive.
That's it? That's all it costs?
This is what I'm seeing.
That's
and
not
it's
bad
specifically called the Guy Gardner ring.
Right. I'm imagining the other lanterns rings might look a little bit different. John, you've got some cheese on your face. Oops. Go
Look,
back.
I haven't eaten all day. The only thing I had was popcorn and candy. So
this is the shirt that Liz was talking about. This is the shirt she saw.
You'd look really nice in that, John.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, let's go back to the other shirts we were looking at just for a second here. Ooh, look at these options here. Ron likes the collar shirts. I like the black one too. That one has all the different logo versions on it. The blue one is nice in the middle as well. This one looks cool. Oh, look at that. There's a nighttime pajamas option as well, especially in the summer season. So lots of different options to pick from. Yeah, we all need some of them. I could probably collect all of them. I'm like, this is literally like crack cocaine. Like you can spend all your money on this stuff. But anyway, we have Hallmark getting in on the action as well with keepsake ornaments. So if you guys want to get started early on your ornament collection for Christmas time, then you can get yourself a Superman ornament to hang on your Christmas tree as well. So there you go. Ron saying, what's funny is my brother doesn't know how much about DC, thinks Guy Gardner is an actual gardener. Okay.
I love that.
Are you sure he's not just messing with you there, Ron?
That's funny as hell.
He might know the difference. Those are nice indeed. Oh, it's only 30 because of the Guy Gardner. I see what you did there, Marco. Sick burn. All right. All right, moving on to the next thing. Yeah, I think that was a night suit there.
But don't worry, guys. Since the Guy Gardner ring is a GameStop exclusive, if you don't like it, you can bring it back for $2 in store credit.
Yeah,
there you go. There's looking on the bright side. But John, if you don't care for the shirt, if you don't care for the bomber jackets or the varsity jackets, you can get yourself a hoodie and a beanie with the Superman logo on it.
I mean, you know my paycheck. You know, like I can't like afford all this, my guy. Like, come on. I
legitimately would allow some of these to be reimbursable item purchases.
So I'm actually on the jewelry brand's website, and they have the ring for $40. So it's still somewhat affordable.
You're talking about the green one? This one?
More affordable than
the Guy Gardner one. Yep, that's $40 on jewelry on jewelrybrands.shop. Oh, and they have a lot of Superman stuff.
Looks like Enterprising 7 Manual, I should say, wants that hoodie. Where's the hoodie? This hoodie.
Yeah, the hoodie's all right. The hoodie's
I will say
it's also a very light hoodie. It doesn't look like it's very warm, so you can
get
it.
I can bet you with the Hallmark ornament, people are gonna already start making jokes about David Cornsweat's eyes.
It does.
Why?
Yeah, that's like
because like he had the weird eyes in that one trailer.
They also he looks like he has a belly on him in this one. It looks weird. I'm hit or miss when it comes to the Hallmark figures.
I know what really matters.
McFarlane or Sideshow or Hot Toys. They're not.
I mean, I am an avid Hallmark collector, but I'm very, very specific when it comes to the figures. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm like, the real question is how well did they tuck the bulge on that ornament? That's the real.
Well, it looks like they put him in his gut, for goodness sakes. It's not. This is not a nice angle. That's all I know. Anyway.
Hashtag believe in the bulge, everybody. Believe in the bulge. All right, so we have S is for Santa. Not for hope. It's for Santa. Anyway, we have a few other things to get into. Before we do, I want to get your opinions, guys, in the chat. What you think about all the Superman merchandise? Which is your favorite? Let us know in the comments down below. What did you think about the new footage that we got in the Chinese trailer, as well as the new Chinese poster, which looks really, really good? And we'd love to hear from you. We are not done talking about Superman, because if you stick around on the live show later on, we're going to get into more Superman news. But right now, we have to talk about Blade, because, of course, it's a movie that will probably never happen, but Mahershala Ali, is talking about it again. So let's talk about it for a second. He recently just admitted, coming to us from the Hollywood Reporter here, saying that he doesn't know where Marvel is at right now after the Blade delays. Like, he really has no idea. The other day we were talking about how he said, look, Marvel, like, call me, which sounds weird because I'm like, I'd assume that you would already be in touch with Kevin Feige and co. Lizz, as he's been promoting this Jurassic World Rebirth, he's been asked about it multiple times, and every time he's been given quotes like, call me, I don't know where things
leave
are at.
Mahershala alone. Like
one day at a time.
Yeah. How many times can he say, I don't know? If they had any information that they wanted him to share, he'd have shared it by now. Like, leave the man alone. Let him just promote his current stuff, for goodness sakes. I'm sure he's bummed every time somebody asks him about it, because he really, we want it, he wants it. It's probably not happening. So let the man live, for God's sakes. I feel so bad for him. Like, can I just promote Jurassic Park right now? Like, you have to?
No, because we want to hear about a good movie. That's why.
Hey, I still know a ton of people that are excited for it, John. I know how you feel, but like I said, these are like Fantastic Four movies. They're going to have their diehard fan base. They're going to make all the money. It is what it is, man.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's just, he's got another movie coming up after this. He's got so many things lined up. He probably has a million scripts on his desk. So
Marco says he's going to be Blade after Batman Part 2. And you know what? That's what it's looking like, Marcos. You're not wrong at all.
I mean, look, however,
he is a black guy in a horror movie, so wish him luck for Jurassic World Rebirth, I guess.
Mahershala Ali is busy enough. I think it's going to be difficult to see at this point, given that they've gone through 5 directors and 20 writers. I just don't know if they're going to crack this ever, quite frankly. But yeah, Mahershala Ali's saying he really doesn't know where Marvel is at with this right now. So we'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think? Is my camera? There we go. Get that right. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about the comments from Mahershala Ali about Blade. He doesn't know where Marvel is at with it. You would think he would know, considering that he's still signed on to play Blade, but let us know in the comments down below. Do you think that movie will ever happen, or are we just kind of like stuck in purgatory from here on forever?
Yes.
But yeah, right now we have a movie review to talk about, because of course we have to get into 28 Years Later. So let's talk about that. That movie is doing
years, Daniel.
Well,
you said days.
Oh, I did not. 28 Years Later. Sorry about that. We were talking about it before the show, so that must have been on my mind. But guys, you both have seen the movie, so I'd love to hear from you. John, we even had this loaded up. Like, look at this.
28 years later, Danny, there I am. Hello. I did, because I wasn't sure if I would be able to join.
I know, that's fair.
You said you wanted to get on earlier, so I was
it's all good. It's all good. Things change, but you know
just
what?
In case.
I want to get your opinions. So I'll kind of take myself off camera. Lizz, I'll start with you. What did you think about the movie? And then John, you can obviously chime in. Let's talk about 28 Years Later. Of course, Danny Boy looking to complete a trilogy. This movie's off to a good start, making good money at the box office. It's not blowing the doors off the box office, but it's doing well. And I don't know how you guys both felt about it. Maybe we'll have 2 very different opinions. So Lizz, let's start off with you.
Hey gang, so as you guys know, it's been a journey for me to catch up with these films, but I saw all 3 films in this franchise this week. So I was just primed and ready to go today to see 28 Years Later. I loved it. I think it's the best one of the 3. They've been getting progressively better. What I do love about all of these films is that even though they're set in the same world, it's essentially the same thing is going on. They are still very different as far as, the type of people that we're following, the type of scenarios that they're in. And I really, really like that about these films. This one did not disappoint at all. They also do a really good job in this film and the other 2 of telling the story as it's progressed over time. So people kind of have an idea of where they're starting. And you could essentially see this one without seeing the first 2, because they do explain things very well again in it. But I thought this one was great. I am actually looking forward to the Bone Palace, or whatever we're calling it. Even though I had said I didn't like the idea that they were doing another film so soon after this one, but now I'm intrigued. We talked about how Jack O'Connell's in it for all of 2 seconds. He really is in it for all of 2 seconds, but that was enough to grab me and get me to look forward to the next project. His character and the group that he's with are so completely outrageous and so just completely removed from everything else that we've seen over these past 3 films that I'm like, okay, now I need to know their story. So they've done a really good job of storytelling. Dan and I were talking about this, before the show, and I have a problem with zombie movies for some reason, because I always like to assume any film that I'm seeing like could happen in the real world. I try to kind of put that on films. So there's a lot of things that happen that I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. And like one thing here, like, oh, that's ridiculous, or that could never happen, or that doesn't make sense. But then I have to be like, dial it back and be like, Liz, it's a zombie movie. Like, zombies don't exist. It is fictional. Chill out. So there was a couple moments like that. Again, in all 3, I can't put it solely on 28 years later, but there were a couple moments where I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense, or no, I wouldn't have done that, or but it wouldn't be a movie if people were making good decisions every time they stepped out their front door. So but I really enjoyed it. I thought it, for the pacing, it was 2 hours, but you didn't feel like you were there for that long. Again, I still have some more questions leading into the Boneyard, and as we know, some of the characters we'll see again in that film. But I really enjoyed it, and like I said, I like the fact that while they're all within the same universe, they have the same theme. Essentially, they are still essentially standalone films of their own, which I enjoy a lot. So I would absolutely see this again. Again, I think this was my favorite of the 3. I don't know, John, how you feel about it, but for a franchise that's been around for over 20 years at this point, they've done a really good job.
Yeah. Very nice review. But I mean, if you want to catch my further thoughts with friends, go check out my review on the Cool Kids Movie Reviews channel, because I can go into that much more extensively.
I was gonna say, though, the review that John recorded earlier, we are gonna put that on the channel tomorrow, so you guys can check out like John's
yeah, and it's also the same review is
there
on
as
my
well.
letterbox, so if you guys have the link, which is now under Storm of Geek, so if you want to go look that up, then by all means.
Yeah. But yeah, John, what did you think about the movie?
So for me personally, I think so I'm gonna repeat some thoughts from my initial review, so I do apologize. But so if you watch this and then that back to back, sorry. So 28 Days Later, going back to the first film, is a movie I find to be good, but kind of overrated. That was the thing that started the whole zombie craze of the 2000s. Like, that was the thing that really pushed it to become as big, like essentially repopularizing the genre, the subgenre. But I saw it many years later, and I thought it was good. I think it's an overrated movie, but I think it's still a very good movie. I think 28 Weeks Later is superior, even though not many people agree with that. I think 28 Weeks Later was better. In terms of 28 Years Later, I think it's not as good as Weeks, but better than Days. Now, for me, I felt that the first 2 acts of this movie were very stylized, I was intrigued throughout. Like, the dynamic cinematography, the gore and the kills were very good. It's a beautiful, like, look at these shots, right? It's a beautiful looking movie. The evolved zombies look friggin' great. However, acting, writing, and story wise, for the first 2 acts were probably subpar at best. I felt that the acting was good, but nothing too special. Maybe except from the kid, Alfie Williams Spike, because usually, kids are not very good in movies, and this guy's like, teenager. So he has a little bit more experience than like an 8-year-old, but still not as much as experience as like Ray Fiennes or something like that. And we'll get to that soon enough. But I thought he did as good as he could be with the writing. I thought the writing for this movie was probably one of the weakest parts. I felt that it was very one note, very generic, somewhat predictable, and the plot was almost non-existent. I felt it was kind of just like things happening the movie, and I felt that the allegories and themes and parallels to real life were very, very very they were terrible. Like, in all honesty, like, instead of like going for really intriguing bits that were left over from the last movie, instead of going after those intriguing plot threads, you just like ignore those for like Brexit and fucking COVID-19 allegory. It's like, okay, great, cool. I really want to watch that in 2025. Thanks, Alex and Danny. So I felt that that was a very weak point, and it was not much story. It didn't feel like it was like about it, but it was still fun. It was like, okay, this is run of the mill zombie stuff. Um, However, I was somewhat intrigued with Jodie Comer's story. I thought she did a very good job. Aaron Taylor Johnson did as best as he could with the writing and all of that. So I
And
thought
his
all of it
character was
was
kind of shitty. Like after all
yeah,
after all the advertising, like he seems like he's going to be like this hero figure, and he kind of sucks.
and he's like kind of to the way he's like what I
Yeah.
call, the term plot device. He is
Yeah,
a
right.
theme device to me. I don't know if that's a thing, but
John, did
like
you feel the way that I felt, where like you were left with like more questions for in pertaining to certain things? Like,
maybe
again,
a
we're going to
little
talk
bit.
about it, like how, and someone had already mentioned it in the chat, the alpha, and how the alpha is going to come back in the Bone Palace. Like, did you have like questions? Because I
Not a
questioned that a lot.
ton. I was left
Okay.
questioning with the ending because that was a fucking weird and stupid kind of ending. But okay, with all
But
that,
it makes me want to. I need to know about like that
like,
faction of
okay,
humanity
Alex
now.
Garland, I get you want to take the piss out of Jimmy Seville, but like, why do we have to have, as Angelica Kate said, a Power Rangers fucking ending with that shit? The most British thing I have ever seen in a movie. However, still, I didn't hate it as much as other people did, but like, I found it to be unnecessary. However,
It was just so far removed
it
from
was so the
anything we've seen
tonal
up to this
thing
point in the
was
film. Like,
just
it was wild.
it
Yeah.
was wild. However, I will say this. So the first two acts of this movie I felt were like okay at best. I was kind of like watching like, this is kind of disappointing. Not really, like, it's fine. It's okay. And then the third act. The third act is one of the greatest fucking things I have ever seen in a zombie movie ever.
Okay.
Like, the first if the first two acts were like a 6 out of 10 for me, the last act is like a 10 out of 10. Once
Wow.
Ray
Right.
Fiennes enters the movie, it's
Yeah.
like night and day in terms of quality. Ray Fiennes single-handedly brought this movie to one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like, it was so I cannot tell you, the third act alone is worth the price of admission. Single-handedly. It is absolutely like, it's not like the greatest, like, in terms of zombie movies, but like, to me, the greatest zombie movie ever made is Train to Busan. That movie is perfect. That movie is like absolute excellence when it comes to zombie films. However, in terms of that, not talking about the whole movie, just that last act is the best zombie related thing I've seen since Train to Busan. And I've seen a lot of great zombie movies. But what Ray Fiennes and the writing did was just mind-blowingly good. Like, with these characters that felt so flat and generic throughout the most of the movie, they were like brilliantly constructed, these arcs, they brought actual like character depth that was felt missing throughout most of the movie. And I was moved. It nearly brought me to fucking tears. I was just like, wow. This is a bit of a major spoiler, so just keep that in mind. If you really don't want to hear anything like specific, turn it off now and move on. But for me, I wish the movie would have ended with Alfie Williams, Spike, putting his mother's skull on top of the monument,
Yeah.
and then it fades to black, and that's the end. That it would have left a cliffhanger ending, but it still would have felt like succinct. Maybe the ending with, you know, him like, I'll come back to the island later. Here's the baby. I'll do my own thing.
Yeah,
And then
I
it,
liked
like,
that part. I liked the letter. I liked him saying, I'll come back when I'm ready.
yes,
Yeah.
I did like that. And I personally, at the most, I think it should have ended with him getting cornered by the zombies. And if you want a really fucked up, depressing ending, cut to black after that. It's just like, I didn't hate the ending, but I also didn't like it either with like the fucking like Jimmy Seville Power Rangers bullshit. It felt just so tonally inconsistent. And I'm like, Alex Garland, you did an excellent job with Warfare. You did an excellent job with Civil War.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Again, that part for me was so it almost felt like, you know, what they've done with like Walking Dead, where like, you know, they have these characters that are so outlandish and so outrageous. I mean, here they have almost 30 years, you know, with living this life with the zombies. So it makes a little more sense. Whereas like Walking Dead, like they've been experiencing it for like 2 years, and now all of a sudden like this group of people have made their own separate culture and language, so it makes a little more sense here. But like I said, that was the intriguing part for me, was that like, okay, where did these guys come from? How did they start? How is it that they seem to be doing a hell of a lot better than everybody else? You know, they're cleaner, they've got bling, they've got matching suits. I just wanted to know that storyline. I wanted to get into the weeds with that, which is again what I'm assuming we're going to be getting when we get into the Bone Palace, since they're living in the same area as the Doctor. But I mean, I don't know how spoily we want to get, but again, for me, John, and I don't know how you feel about it, but the Alpha keeps coming up. Ray Fiennes has named the guy Samson.
Yeah.
And every time the guy comes up, I'm like, why are we keeping him around? Like, I understand that Rafe is a doctor, and he's kind of, it seems like he's kind of been conducting research and learning about these zombies that he's living amongst. But I'm like, bro, like we've had a number of opportunities to kill this cat, and he's supposed to be like the big bad in the area. Like, why are we not taking him out at every opportunity?
Maybe they can't. Maybe he's just, remember the thing that fucking killed the last Alpha earlier on in the movie was like 15 arrows and then a fire log to the chest.
Well, but Aaron Taylor Johnson says that. He says the Alphas, it takes, 8 to 10, hits with an arrow. You got to chop their heads off, blah, blah, blah. Ray Fiennes had all of those opportunities. He could have done that. He's like putting them to sleep, and it's like, okay, at that point, chop the fucking head off. I don't, how did, again, we're fully into spoilers here at this point, gang. So I'm just gonna ask the question, John, how did we feel about the pregnant zombie giving birth? Dude.
I closed my eyes because I'm like, I haven't seen an actual birth, let alone a zombie birth. I ain't watching that.
It just didn't make sense to me. And again, it left me with more questions. So like, wait, was she already a zombie when because we're talking, it's 9 months, right? So was she already a zombie when she got pregnant? Is it the Alpha's baby? Because that was the vibe I was getting. And like, how is it that they're the undead, but I mean, that's the same thing we had with Twilight. How is it that they're the undead, but they can have babies? And like, the whole thing was just all kinds of.
Technically, this version of the zombie is infected. It's not like really like an undead zombie. It's just infected with a virus.
Okay.
So the implication was the Alpha and his big swinging dick throughout that goddamn whole sequence. That's the I'm sorry, that was the only thing. Like, this train sequence was really good, but all I could saw was this dude.
Well, and that was the other question. And I had to kind of like convince myself that it made sense that they were all naked all the time, because I was like, oh, over like an almost 30-year span, have they been zombies for 30 years? So maybe you snag your jacket on a tree and they deteriorate off your body after a time. But I still felt like I was like, literally everyone's got to be naked in this, all of them. Danny Boyle has something with swinging dicks. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Cillian Murphy's tallywhacker at the beginning of Days, so
Completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. And why were there no sheets on that hospital bed, for Christ's sake? Like, none of that scene made any sense to me. But anyway.
But the implication I got was that the Alpha impregnated the woman while they were both infected. However, my gathering, and maybe it'll be explained later in the next movie,
yeah,
where my headcanon, I guess, so far is that all babies are born alive, like they're not infected,
right.
and then infected turn them infected, like they cut them or bite them or whatever the transmittance of like infectedness is. So that's I think like all baby, if zombies are getting it on, like, then I think that the disease is not transferable to the baby, but they make it so it's after the fact. So maybe like they grow.
Well, and again, they're talking about the different strains, the new iterations of zombies. So like, so that I'm trying to wrap my head around that too. Like, no, this is a new type of zombie. This is a new, strain of the virus, what have you. Another question for you, again, because since Dan hasn't seen these films, and I'm curious in the chat too, like every film, I was kind of hoping the previous characters and that, that the other film was based on would kind of show up in some way. Did you ever want that or feel like that? Like, like I wanted the kids that survive at the end of 28 weeks later. I want them to somehow be a part of this world or part of this story because supposedly they've got immunity. Did you miss any of that? Like, of them referring back to other characters from the other films?
I think I mean, we are going to be getting, Danny Boyle confirmed in terms of other characters in other films, we are going to be getting Cillian Murphy in the next movie. He said it's going to be at the very end of the movie, and he's hoping that him being at the very end of the movie will get them funding for the third movie, because they filmed it back to back. And then Kelson, the doctor, is going to be in the next film.
Right.
Samson, apparently. Obviously, the only major... I don't know if Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to be. I don't know if it's just going to focus on Spike, or they're going to have like a B plot with him, like trying to find Spike.
Well, I would imagine there's going to be some kind of reconciliation between the two of them at some point, for sure.
Yeah. He said that the third movie was going to be about redemption. So obviously we'll see if it gets there, but
Alrighty then. Well, I enjoyed it. I know it was kind of a disappointment for you in certain aspects, but as someone who doesn't really watch these and then having just seen all three within 3 days of each other, I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, I still have questions. I'm leaving with questions, but now it's making me looking forward to the next couple of projects.
Yeah, I thought it was good, okay for the first 2 acts, but that last act was excellent. So I would say that last act was just brilliant. I would give it like an 8 out of 10, like 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10, halfway point, 8 out of 10. So yeah.
Well, hey, the last question I'll ask you guys is, do you recommend this movie to people wanting to go see it in a movie theater, or should they wait till it comes out on streaming?
No, I would say see it in a theater, especially if you've seen the other films. Yeah, if you like zombie movies, again, you can see this without having seen the other two. So if you like zombie films, if you like Danny Boyle, if you like Ralph Fiennes, if you like Aaron Taylor Johnson, I would say go see it for sure in the big screen.
John?
Yeah, I would say don't wait till streaming. Support your local movie theaters. Go see good films. Don't see Megan. Don't please, for the love of God.
I'll go see it. I'll go see Megan.
I'll be seeing it, so you don't
contribute.
Don't see Bride Hard. Don't see Bride Hard.
Don't contribute to the death of cinema. Go see F1. Go see 28 years later. Hell, go see How to Train Your Dragon. I'd say see that garbage.
Good.
Fucking go see that.
It was
Go
delightful.
see Elio. I don't fucking know. Just don't go.
Please see Elio. I'm begging you to see Elio. Please see Elio.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about 28 Years Later. Did you see it? And of course, if you haven't seen it, are you more excited to see it now that you've heard both John and Lizz talk about it? Of course, they do have another movie coming out in the franchise next year, and they're hoping to, wrap up the narrative, the story that they
go watch a zombie give
left
birth.
on a bit of a cliffhanger in this movie. Yeah. Let us know in the comments down below. If you are new here, of course, hit subscribe. We're here doing this 5 days a week, talking about movies and a lot of DC stuff, especially. We got some Marvel stuff on the way in the show today as well. So hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. And right now we have to move on to talking about a couple of movie trailers, because we did get a couple of good ones. In fact, we had a few more than just 2 trailers come out today. I just couldn't get myself to talk about all of them, but like Lizz sent me quite a few things that we could have talked about. But I think, in my opinion, and take this for what it's worth, the best trailer I saw today was not surprisingly the Fantastic Four trailer. The best trailer I saw today was something I ran across on Threads, Channing Tatum in Roofman.
Which I sent you first.
Lizz said, yeah, you did. Lizz sent this over to us in our groups chat that we have, and I just was I just didn't read it, I guess. But then I saw the trailer online. So that I saw this trailer.
He doesn't read my chat.
I'm busy. I literally, I kid you not, I played this thing back 3 times in a row because of it's endearing in a way that I didn't think it's a trailer with the.
And it's based on a true story, apparently,
about escaped convict. Like, I wouldn't imagine his character is likable, at least in the trailer. I mean, again, when the movie, when it's also a bit of a comedy, it's a crime comedy. I don't know if it's gonna get really dark, but Kirsten Dunst is in this alongside Channing Tatum, of course, in the lead role. Like you said, Lizz, is based on
Peter Dinklage,
real life story, Peter Dinklage. Yeah. So, Lizz, what did you think about it? Because obviously, I am enthralled with the trailer myself, but you saw it, and you saw it before I did.
I think it looks fun. It looks really interesting. Again, he is a bad guy, but he's like the nicest bad guy you've ever seen. He's considerate of other people's feelings and comfort as he's robbing them. And again, the fact that it is based on a true story, it makes me want to do a deeper dive into that and see exactly what happened, because I certainly have never heard this story before. And it also looks like something very different for Channing Tatum, which I'm a fan of too. Like, it's kind of it's serious, but it's lighthearted serious. It's not, it's not like Blink Twice. It's not like 21 Jump Street. This is a nice, like, lighthearted dark comedy, if you can use all of those terms together. But I think this one looks really fun.
Absolutely, it does. It looks.
Oh my god!
It looks
our girls
hilarious.
in it too. Nice, yeah.
Yep. She's from Ted Lasso. What's her name?
Yep.
Juno Temple.
Juno, and our boy from Get Out is in there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is really exciting.
I didn't get a chance to see the trailer for this, but I trust you guys. And Channing Tatum looks like normal looking.
He's definitely trimmed down. Like, he is not muscular.
I think he's doing the thing that Dave Bautista is doing, where he just kind of got rid of the muscle mass. He's like,
he's cutting. He cut a lot of weight for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, even Peter Dinklage looked like he cut weight too, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's going
to be Toxie. He's going to be the Toxic Avenger. So, hell yeah.
This looks great. I love this. Again, I did not expect to like this trailer as much as I did.
And this place takes place in a Toys R Us, so it's gonna be, it's gonna have like some nostalgic vibes. It's gonna be like late 90s, early 2000s setting, possibly, maybe even earlier. But I'm for it. I think this looks really interesting.
Yeah. Steven, yes, I am still waiting for that 22 Jump Street sequel. I want a 23 Jump Street. With the Korean,
I still want Men in Black X 23 Jump Street. That's what I want to see.
Well, because I keep forgetting, they were like, oh, then next year we're gonna be back across the street again with Vietnamese Jesus. It's either Vietnamese or Korean Jesus. I forgot which church was up for development next. But anyway, like, whatever. I want that sequel. Like, give me a 23 Jump Street. Like, or give me give me all the sequels from that credit sequence. Church school, dance school, at sea,
military school. What contract dispute?
Y'all are going to military. It's like, I want Ice Cube back, and obviously this would be so.
Oh, it looks like a giant cube of ice.
My name is Jeff. Just Dora, Jeff, and Swiper.
Although I will say the funniest thing about the scene in the beginning where they go after where they're in the truck and like
Yep.
he starts freaking out because of the bird. It's because literally Jonah Hill hates birds and has a major fear of birds. So him freaking out was just Jonah Hill freaking out after seeing a bird.
Oh my God, it's the Terminator. It's like, back in my day, we did like some real drive. Like, okay, I love that movie so much. Anyway, guys, let us know what you thought about the Roofman movie. Channing Tatum is turned into a pretty decent actor, and he looks pretty fun watch in Roofman. So let us know what you thought about the trailer. I, for one, will go see the movie when it comes out. Let us know if you will do the same. Right now, we have to talk about the final Fantastic Four First Steps trailer. So they finally put it out there in the world, and the movie is only weeks away at this point. It comes out a couple of weeks after Superman comes out, so you know it's still, I would say, a little less than a month, but you know you could count that time in weeks. And the fans of Marvel are looking forward to this, because if you went to see Thunderbolts, you're thinking Marvel is back. Liz, your last name is Marvel, so I know you saw the trailer.
Sure did.
And one of the big things in the trailer, amongst several things, was of course we got a lot more of a looks at Galactus. We even got a little bit of a look at, you know, the Fantastic Four in space and their spacesuits, where they went and maybe what caused Galactus to find Earth. But the big thing, of course, across the whole trailer was, is it clobbering time? Like, say it. Say it. He's like, I don't want to say it. It's just in the TV show. So like, it's, I loved everything about that, but then
but I secretly hope that he never does. Just for the sake of his character, just for him. I hope that he does.
Liz, what did you think about the trailer?
You know what, gang? I'm locked in now. I'm on board. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. As you know, I've been feeling mid about this. I've been feeling lukewarm about this the whole time. This one finally sealed the deal. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hyped for it. I'm excited. I'm gleefully anticipating what's to come, how it's going to connect to the rest of the MCU that we have coming up. I'm all in, gang. I'm all in.
Yeah, the comments are all in as well. By the way, just some geeky guy with a super chat. It's not related to what we're talking about now, but he's
Just
saying
wrong.
after seeing the
Just
alpha
wrong.
and 28 years later,
Wrong,
running butt
wrong,
naked
wrong.
with a schlong swinging side by side, the film should have been retitled 28 inches later. Great.
But yes,
Thank
Frankie,
you for the super
again,
chat.
yes.
Yes.
There is a shot with using that line when the flame is essentially flying on the thing's back. And yeah, the thing looks like his chin grew like 6 inches. He's got this Mondo boulder hanging off his face. It's really strange. Thank you for bringing it up in the chat, because yeah, Dan and I saw that, and Dan said the same thing to me. He's like, did he grow a rock beard? Like,
yeah. I was like, where is it? Where's the shot?
Strange.
Let's find the shot, shall we? Because I'm really, really curious. I think it's right here.
There you are, right there.
There we go.
That's
Let's
the
see
one.
if I can.
Look at what what has happened
I'm
here.
like, is that a rock beard? How does that work?
It's a weird angle. I don't know. I mean, again, we have talked about this before, though. We've seen different clips of the trailers, right? And we've said that the proportions are off here, the CGI, the special effects looks wonky here. So this could just be kind of like a Superman slip up where they miscalculated something with the special effects. But yeah, the fact that you and I both clocked that when watching the trailer for the first time,
yeah,
and clearly our folks in the chat too, it's weird.
It's a beard. It's a prop. There's like a mustache that connects. It's a whole thing. It's a beard, guys. It's officially that. We're not joking. It's a rock beard, as Marco Ramos is saying.
Weird. I don't understand the anatomy of the thing. I'm really perplexed by the whole.
I mean, I also like they're showing more of Mr. Fantastic's powers. They show, of course, like more damage happening to the city, which I love the cityscape in this movie so much.
Oh,
I can't wait to see it. It's such a sight to behold. And the comedy around the whole, is it clobbering time? And there's like a TV show. I mean, all the meta stuff that they're doing within this movie, I cannot wait to see more of that. We get a really good look at, of course, the Human Torch character. I was thinking of something else, but yeah, Human Torch, and he creates that iconic 4 in the sky. We get to see, that whole thing when the sky lights up is actually, when Julia Garner's Silver Surfer is arriving, and that kind of kicks off essentially how the thrust of the plot, which is Galactus coming to town. We see Galactus' ship. We see their footprints on this alien planet. What was really interesting, Liz, I don't know if you caught some of this, but it looks like they saw Galactus when they went to whatever alien planet or wherever Galactus lives, and then they're like, "Get us out of here!" Like, and
yeah,
you know,
that is what it seems like, that they
so
encountered him out in outer space and came back and were like, "We're fucked, gang. Sorry for you. We'll do the best we can, but we don't know what we're dealing with. We kind of shit ourselves a little bit when we got up there." Yeah. So again, like I said, this is what I've wanted. This is what I have wanted. I have wanted content. I have wanted context. I want to understand what's going on in this world. I want to understand where the conflict lies, not just them, again, Fantastic Four showing up at the next photo shoot and Mega Mall opening. I want to know what they're all about. So I'm locked in. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. And you know what? This trailer finally gives us more of like, okay, what is the big deal in this movie? Like, why does this movie exist? What's the conflict?
Marco wants to know how he shaves. If it's a rock beard, he wants to know how.
I don't know. We'll ask
That's
John.
That's a fair question, Marco. That's a fair question. I have so many.
I will say, according to what Frankie's saying with the Silver Surfer lines, I did enjoy. Like, I think there's a theatricality to that, to the Silver Surfer, and I really enjoyed what we got to see in this trailer, even more so than what we have seen in the previous trailers with Silver Surfer. Also, I mean, just the tone of this trailer, right? Like in the first few trailers, it was all about like, how bright and puffy and just like, the 60s retro vibe of the world and the Fantastic Four, these celebrities. This trailer kicks off with that, but then it gets a lot darker than the previous trailers have. And we get much more of the peril that this world is going to be in and how the Fantastic Four figure into that. The other thing, this shot that I've got on screen, because remember in the back half of the trailer, there's this shot where you have these huge structures with like some kind of beam that they're forming, and there's multiple of them.
Yep.
I think it's meant to be in Paris that they show the landscape, and the Eiffel Tower that has one of those attached to it,
like in Tomorrowland. Good times.
Essentially, but like so
we do see that.
I thought initially, wait, was that like a Galactus thing, or is this what the Earth is doing to, I guess, protect themselves against Galactus? So it looks like Reed works on this because he's got models of it. And then later on, when Galactus comes to town and we see him walking around town, obviously, I think let me see if I can find that shot. It's a really quick.
Yep, there you are.
Is that it? No, this is.
No, back it up a little bit. Back it up. There.
Back it up. Is
yeah, that was those were legs. Those were legs. But anyway, yeah.
More Fantastic Car, of course. No, but I was trying to find that shot with the beam and stuff. Is that here somewhere? Let me see.
It is in this trailer. I know what you're referring to. Yeah, and I was curious about what that was as well. But now that you've shown that other shot, that makes sense. That it's clearly some device that he was, like you said, was trying
Richards.
to project to
right
there it is.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah, and you're right, Paris.
So,
yep.
Like, and you see, it's not the only one. There's like 3 of them there. So. Let's see if I can get back to it. I mean, again, more context to the whole situation. John, you just watched the trailer. What do you think about this? Was this the one that pulled you in? Because I know that a lot of us were not too excited for this movie, I guess is a way to put it. Like, we were like, why should we watch this? Lukewarm is a good word. And Liz, this did it for you. I know for me, now I'm actually excited. I'm like, okay, now I know what I'm in for here, because we're not just showing vignettes. We're actually seeing what the story is going to be about. What did you think about this?
I think I'm a little bit more excited now, but I'm still like, again, I've been scorned by Marvel way too many times, because if like this sucks, like, and I mean sucks bad, like if it's like mid, I'll be like, okay, maybe. And if this sucks and if Spider-Man 4 sucks, I am permanently done with Marvel and I will never go back. Period. So would just like to say that, because I've been scorned by this fucking company way too many times and I can't keep giving them chances when they frankly don't deserve it. So I will say I am more excited about this is the best part of the trailer. This right here was that dynamic between the Thing and Johnny was easily they nailed it. They nailed it, and I love it.
I'm not sure if that's a CGI baby.
It's great. I wish the The thing is, I still hate the idea like, oh, Johnny was such this like piece of shit womanizer. It's like, yeah, because he grows as a character. Crazy. Having our characters grow, insane.
We do see a little more of that in this trailer too, like
but I
all the girls cheering
I
for
love
Johnny.
that dynamic. I will say Pedro Pascal, I'm still not convinced. Honestly, Vanessa Kirby kind of flat a little bit.
I haven't been convinced with her either. I love
haven't
her.
been
I adore
convinced.
her. I've seen a lot of things that she's been in, but I feel the same way about her.
She is great.
No,
Honestly,
but I feel
like
exactly the same way.
these two are gonna chug it along for me. This is like me. It's like Pedro and Vanessa Kirby. They're like, oh, Mr. Fantastic Super. They're like Sir Paul and like John Lennon, where it's like oh my god, they're the ones that get all the love. Oh, fuck that. This is like the George Harrison Ringo combination, where it's like they're the backbone of the band and like kind of like the best ones.
Which is funny because isn't one of them playing a Beatle? Didn't we establish that? But anyway, no, and again, only knowing Fantastic Four through the crappier films that we've gotten before, I've never really had like much feeling or thought on any of these characters overall, but I've always, ever since we got the cast announcement, I was always like, oh, that's probably not who I would have chosen for either of those roles. And I still do. I agree with you, John. I still do feel that way about Vanessa and Pedro, but hey, it is what it is. And they are great actors, so they're going to give it their all, and I hope it works.
Yeah, I think I think this
I don't know if that's
was
an criticism. Enterprise.
I don't mind Galactus, but I'm sure Ralph Ineson will do a fantastic job. I'm not a huge fan of the look. Like, it's like, honestly, the popcorn bucket looks better than like Galactus in the movie. Like, I just like, I don't know. It's just like,
Galactus looks like he's made in the scrapyard.
I'm all
like
in
it's
with
just
Pedro
a bunch
myself.
of spare parts that were dug up in a junkyard.
Exactly. Like,
yeah, it's like Stanford and Son Galactus.
I get what they're going for. It's just like, it's just weird to me. Like,
he's very weathered.
Again, I don't want to seem like a Marvel hater. I swear, guys, I love Marvel. I'm trying not to be an asshole. I'm not a Snyder cultist for Marvel. But it's just like you have the retro futurism, silly comic book stuff with the Fantastic Four, and I love that. That's great. I love this vibe. I love it. So the retro futurism, I love it. That is like bread and butter right there. Perfection. Yet Galactus looks like the generic Marvel template. Big gray bad guy. Big gray bad guy, the thing that Nando V Movies talked about extensively. It looks great. It looks great. Like, I don't see the purple. I didn't see the purple at all.
There's a little purple.
So it just looks like a big, boring, like Marvel bad guy. Like, it doesn't look interesting. Like, honestly, Silver Surfer, she looks pretty good. Like, the CGI is maybe a little wonky, but
the
like,
hair's stupid, but yeah,
the hair looks weird. But I will say, I like because in the comics, the version of the Silver Surfer she plays, she has like kind of poofy hair. I get why they didn't do that to make it like kind of realistic, but like, I like the poofy hair more. It makes it look.
I agree.
Cool. Also, hello Antonio. But like Galactus, I like how they didn't try to do something different, like a big cloud. But like, I'll give them that. Like, they actually went. This is like halfway there in a way. It's just like, if you're doing the weird, silly Silver Age vibe, do it all the way through. Don't like do like the weird, silly vibe and then do your typical Marvel crap with Galactus. Like, that's the thing that's like kind of irksome to me. But despite this, I thought it was a really good trailer, good action, some stuff we saw before, some stuff we haven't. And obviously, I'm cautiously excited for the film. Yeah, better than The Fart. Yeah, but Ralph Ineson, I mean, he's a Robert Eggers regular, so gonna do great things.
Yeah,
that voice is perfect for Galactus. Like, that, when I heard Ralph Ineson was, because I was like, the rumor, I'm like, oh, it's a rumor mill, I don't know. But when I heard that he was actually going to be Galactus, I'm like, that voice, like, anybody who hasn't seen a Ralph Ineson movie, which is like, hasn't been in a ton outside of, like, again, Robert Eggers projects, but if you just listen to his voice, imagine that voice like booming over like the entirety of Earth, like delivering the message of your world will be conquered and blah blah blah. That's perfect right there. That's another thing that I will say. I'm not a huge fan of the look, but that I'm excited for it. That is great. And I'm not just saying that as a Robert Eggers fan. I swear I'm not saying it. Just like that voice is a
you
great
can. You're allowed.
I will say though, this poster is great. I love this poster that they've got here. With Galactus in the back and all the characters. This is the most dynamic poster I've seen from this movie so far, and I love it. I think this is great. It also has a classic feel to it. It feels more of the throwback to the Jessica Alba, Ian Garfoyd, Michael Chiklis era of Fantastic, with Chris Evans as well. It's got a feel to it, with especially the rise of the Silver Surfer. Like, it looks a little more like that. But I love this trailer. I think this is the best trailer they've put out so far. Far and away, much more impressive than what we have seen up until this point. Not saying that the other trailers weren't good necessarily. I just feel like this trailer in particular really drives the point home that this is a movie worth watching. And unlike you guys, I am loving what Vanessa Kirby is bringing to the table so far. And then I also think Pedro Pascal will earn our love for him, even though we are not so sure about it. I think the more we see of him, we're gonna start to realize that maybe for this version of the character, he was perfect. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It comes out July 25th. Maybe what we saw in this was, the negative zone was potentially is going to be a part of the movie. There's hints at that. Marco saying, I think they should try to portray Galactus was a cloud, but has that been done before? I'm sure you're being facetious with that. But Sam Emmanuel, I think I'm on the same page with you. I think I am cautiously optimistic about it. And so hopefully from here onwards, it's all good news and on the up and up. That whole thing that they did with the TWA terminal experience that they did with all those content creators, that was really nice. That was cool, I'm not gonna lie. I really love that. I'm like, I want to stay at that hotel. But guys, Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four First Steps, the final trailer is out now, and they've got a poster out alongside it. So tickets have already been on sale for a while, and this movie is building up some momentum. And while Superman comes out a couple of weeks before it, Fantastic Four is going to be basically the last MCU movie before we get Avengers Doomsday. Or actually, no, that's not true anymore. And before we get Spider-Man Brand New Day, and then Avengers Doomsday. So at least from
that's a low bar. The bar is in hell in Enterprise, and the bar is in hell.
That's fair, yeah.
Considering that the best Fantastic Four movie is not technically a Fantastic Four movie, The Incredibles, that's a low bar. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. The Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie we've ever gotten.
Agreed.
Fair enough.
Just like how The Iron Giant is the best Superman movie we've ever gotten. Both by Brad Bird.
All true.
Coincidence?
And he's involved in the third one. He's writing the third one. But hey, Fantastic Four First Steps. The trailer's out. The final trailer's out. And they've got a poster. What did you think about it? Let us know in the comments down below. Of course, we have had a mixed set of reactions on the panel here on the show. We would love to hear from you. And if you are new here, then just hit that subscribe button, because we are doing this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So be sure to check us out. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. We'll bring those into the Q&A session we do on Friday's show. Right now, we have to switch focus because the next thing is the quick hits. We got to get into a little more news, but the next set of news that we're going to dive into are going to be a little bit faster than what we've been doing so far. Of course, we want to talk about a few other pieces of news, but with not as much detail as we have just done with the two trailers we talked about. John wasn't even on the show. We were talking about breaking news at the top. We have Denis Villeneuve directing the next James Bond movie. That's been confirmed. So that's big news. But let's get into the quickest, because that's what we've got up next. I'm going to hit that Bossa Nova elevator music. Let's dive into it, shall we? The very first thing, apparently Thor's new look in Avengers Doomsday is expected to be sleeveless. According to Hemsworth's trainer, the suit is designed to emphasize his arms and shoulders. I don't know how much this is news, because I feel like the last several suits were like that, but
thank you.
I don't know. Liz, do you care for this?
No, it's not news. We've seen him without sleeves. Who cares?
Yeah,
waste of time. So dumb. Not you, Dan. You're not a waste of time. It's the fact that they're even bothering to put this out is what a waste of time.
Hey, instead of pumping the movie that's literally coming out in like 3 weeks, let's pump this other movie that's not going to come out for a year and a half.
Thank you.
It's his trainer. It's not
Ironheart.
anyway.
What's that? Doomsday, guys.
Okay. Well, earlier in the chat, I believe, who said it? Steven was asking about, are you going to talk about the Social Network story? Well, here we go, Steven. The Social Network sequel is in the works, directed by Aaron Sorkin. So they're finally working on a sequel of The Social Network Part 2 over at Sony Pictures. It looks like Aaron Sorkin is not done telling this Facebook story. The award-winning writer is, I'm guessing he's going to write it himself. It looks like he's already written a screenplay, and he's set to direct the follow-up to the 2010 film, helmed by David Fincher, and it looks like Aaron Sorkin is going to take over. The sequel is based on the Wall Street Journal's The Facebook Files, a series of articles authored by Jeff Horowitz and published in October 2021, with further exposed in the inner workings of the company. So it looks like we're going to get more insight into Facebook as the company. So this is not just going to be the guys in college. Your thoughts on this? Are you guys excited for a sequel to The Social Network?
I love Aaron Sorkin. I love everything that he touches. I love everything that he's a part of. And I really hope that they Zuckerberg at this second iteration. I'm assuming it's going to be after he's made his millions and billions and turned into a real shit turd that we all thought he was going to be. So I'm looking forward to them slicing and dicing him in the best possible, wittiest written way imaginable. I can't wait. Please, Aaron Sorkin, drag that fucker through the mud. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway,
is a sequel necessary? I'm not sure, Steven, but I'm not gonna not watch
it's another movie that's gonna hopefully tackle and shit on a corporate billionaire. Are you really complaining?
Not me.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. We'll just, and Aaron Sorkin is a great writer. His dialogue is like always the strength.
I know
of
you
his
can eviscerate people.
Things, but I hope he does a good job.
All right, okay. I don't know about Reptilian Heritage, Frankie, but anyway, a very young Frankenstein comedy pilot is in the works at FX. This is, I think that's Gene Wilder from back in the day. Mel Brooks is involved in this, I think. So it's inspired by his iconic
He's going to be producing,
film, Young Frankenstein. So this has been confirmed by Variety. Exact plot details are under wraps, but it's currently titled Very Young Frankenstein. Are you guys excited about this?
Nope.
No. I only care about the upcoming Spaceballs movie. I don't care about this, but hey, good for them.
I was like, oh, here's the thing. Gene Wilder's dead, so what's the point?
So is Terry Garr.
Terry Garr's dead. Marty Freeman Feldman, that guy, he's dead. Yep. So like none of the people are. Mel Brooks is on death's bed. Well,
this is very young Frankenstein, so this would be pre any of them.
But it's like
if we're going by a timeline.
Well, they can't show here we're going. They can't even show a prequel because he doesn't do it until Young Frankenstein. So what did he make another Frankenstein's monster and then they wiped his mind and I don't know. It just to quote Bruce Wayne from Batman Forever. It just raises too many questions. And on top of the fact, Taika Waititi is the showrunner, so that's an immediate turn off from me.
All right, move on to the next thing, shall we? Jurassic World Rebirth. The team over at that made the movie high-fived each other when they got praise from Steven Spielberg himself, the famed director, of course, who directed the original movie. And he's an executive producer on the latest movie as well. He was apparently very involved in the filmmaking. I mean, I don't know what very involved means for Steven Spielberg these days because he's just finished filming his UFO movie and he's got a million other projects. But Jurassic World Rebirth hasn't been getting the best reviews, but it's still a Jurassic Park movie.
They're gonna make $1 million. No one cares. They're gonna make so much money. If Steven Spielberg even knew my name, I'd probably pee my pants. So good for the high fives all around. Good for them. Nice work, team. You got praise from the God himself. Good for y'all.
Yep. And figure drawing, Mel Brooks is coming back for Spaceballs too, so I think he
sure is
gonna be around for a while to come. But yeah, Jurassic World Rebirth. The team was happy that they got Steven Spielberg's approval. I swear to God with these ads, man. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Elio star Jonas Kabrib has joined the animated movie Pinocchio and the Water of Life. He will also serve as an executive producer on the indie project, which is a steampunk-inspired take on the classic story. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
Guillermo del Toro already perfected it, so I don't care.
Yeah, unlike Elio, I think this one's gonna suck ass. So, I mean, support this actor. He's great. He did great for Elio, but no thanks. So I'm not interested. Again, maybe I'll see a trailer and change my mind, which is what happened with Elio. So
I love he's an enterprising young man. He's only 13 years old. He's already exec producing an indie movie. Good for him. Let's see what it turns into. And you know what? Kim Kardashian is getting to, hopefully in the movie game, it looks like, at least if we go off of this. I don't know. Hopefully is maybe the wrong word. But Kim Kardashian in talks to star in live-action Bratz movie from Amazon MGM. I'm sure Amazon MGM thinks this is next Barbie.
Moving on.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's perfect. It's the perfect fit. I think what the heck's her name? Sabrina Carpenter should be in there too. I mean, there are so many. There's
probably more plastic in her face.
I bet you the entire family is going to make an appearance in the film. You know what? Whatever. She keeps making money. Good for her. I think this is a perfect fit. I'll probably fucking watch the thing. I don't care. So yeah, great news. Great news for the Kardashians. Once again, they come out on top.
Yes, Liz is eating ice cream, by the way.
I am eating ice cream. I am.
All right. She's been a lot of stuff now. She is not the best actress, but anyway, she was in American Horror Story for a season. Daisy Edgar Jones is set to star a new Sense and Sensibility. Let me say that again. Sense and Sensibility film adaptation. Georgia Oakley will direct the movie based on Jane Austen's Dashwood sisters and their widowed mother for Focus Features and working title film. So another Jane Austen movie, or based on her work, that is. Daisy Edgar Jones is a pretty hot actress these days. She's getting a lot of projects, but she's kind of in a niche, and I feel like this is another movie that's in the same niche. Outside of the terrible War of the Worlds series, everything else she does seems to be in like the same genre. But anyway, you guys, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't really care, but maybe my sister, who is a big Jane Austen fan, heard this news and maybe she's excited, maybe she's not. We'll see. I'll ask her about it, but I don't really care.
Yeah, no.
Liz,
When I saw this article, I was like, oh yeah, that's a perfect fit for her. Like, I agree with you. She's pretty much cast in roles very similar to this. So yeah, good for her.
But Liz, what flavor are you eating?
I got the Superman exclusive Dirt Cup Blizzard from Dairy Queen. It's actually kind of disappointing. It doesn't look anything like the picture in real life. I thought it was going to be a little more chocolatey, but hey, you live and you learn. I'm going to stick to the kitchen sink mashup or whatever the shit the thing is called. But anyway, I'm done with it now, so we can move along.
Rivals breakout Bella McLean has been cast in Ray Pataki's directorial debut in Starland, which is an indie movie co-written by Jason Cavan. It also stars Sing Sing actor Clarence Macklin as a middle-aged man struggling to break free from the confines of his small town. Any interest from either of you guys on this one?
Nope. Again, let me see a trailer and sure.
Cool. Look, she's popular from the Rival show on Disney Plus, so that's where we know her from. But moving on to the next thing, Amazon has bought the short novel Collision from author's new collection. The final score in Major Deal, Jake Gyllenhaal set to star and produce. So Don Winslow's The Final Score being turned into a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. John, your thoughts on this one?
Could be interesting. I do like Jake Gyllenhaal. Just hopefully it doesn't fall to the wayside like Roadhouse. And hope it's good.
But they're still making another one, aren't they? They're making a Roadhouse too. So
yep, he's busy. He's plenty busy, and he might be the new Batman too. Who knows? So the other thing I want to get into is the Traitors season 2's greenlit over in India. So Prime Video India has greenlit the Traitors 2. So you might be wondering, there was the Traitors in India? Yes. So originally it was a British show. Then they made it. They had an American version. It currently is going to be coming out with a fourth season.
It takes place in Scotland.
It takes place in Scotland. Now, the Indian version of Traitors does not take place in Scotland. It takes place in a castle in Rajasthan. So that's a province in India. And so it's a little bit different. The filmmaker Karan Johar is the one who hosts it. Basically, the equivalent to Alan Cumming on the American version of the show. Of course, the show has won the BAFTAs in the UK, and the American version has won multiple Emmys. So it's a really popular format. And, India, as popular as ever now. Of course, they love their reality shows, and they're going to be getting a season 2 of the Traitors. So good for that show. I can't wait to see it. This is not even just 3 different versions. There's also an Australian version. So there's at least 4 that I know of.
Yeah, the Australian version just started this year. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're branching out and franchising the heck out of this thing.
It's a super popular show, and
absolutely
I need to add it to the list.
Get on Peacock and watch the shit out of it, Liz.
I think I'm going to start very soon. I've heard nothing but good things about the show.
Speaking of nothing but good things, or I guess the opposite of that, Sabrina Carpenter has debuted an alternate Man's Best Friend cover that's approved by God, and I hold up air quotes there.
She caved.
Amid all the online backlash.
She gave in.
So if you guys want to take a look at it, this is the alternate cover as opposed to the original cover. So you see both versions there side by side. Any preference? Do you guys care or not care?
I mean, both look fine to me, but like
the first one is completely on par with what she's been doing.
Yeah.
If you've seen any footage of her live
Dan,
shows.
Can you go to the first image just real quickly? Just is it me or is that Tom Holland?
That
looks like Tom Holland.
No,
it's not, but I know what
I see. It's a bit of a silhouette.
It's the cheekbones, the weird frog thing he does, the nose. It kind of.
I don't know.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ron, I think I agree with you. This is just again a publicity stunt. It just keeps stirring the news. Or now there's two versions you can get, which is like fine.
Yeah.
Frankie prefers the original version. All right. Well, you know what? Regardless of which one you prefer, now you have both to pick from. So go ahead and do that. But hey, with that, we have come to the end of the quick hits. There we go. On the quick side today, at least, or relatively speaking. Let us know in the comments down below which of those quick hits were your favorite. Whether it was all the different casting news that we got, the Traitors season 2 in India and Prime Video India, of course. We talked about a bunch of other stuff like Sleeveless Thor. Okay, that's news, I guess. But hey, let us know in the comments what you thought about the news, the quick hits, and hit that like button if you haven't already. We do appreciate that. One little click for you guys, and it helps us out a ton. We, on the other hand, are not done yet, because now we have to switch focus onto the main event of the show, as per always, and we're going to be getting into DCU Daily. So welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. As always, we've got a million things from the world of DC to dive into. John and I are going to be diving into it and talking about all the promotion stuff they're doing around Superman. We have got some stuff from Supergirl we'd like to dive into as well. But John, of all the stories we do have, which is the one that you're most looking forward to?
Oh, I didn't get a good look until now because I've been at a movie for the past 3 hours. So if I were to say anything, I do like to see more of the Rio stuff and that world tour. Absolutely love it. But I am seeing a bit of that crypto news that
I was gonna just quickly point out,
because who doesn't love a good doggo?
Absolutely,
but cat people suck, so fuck them.
Just to let you guys know, Liz did just step away because she's got some other obligations she's got to tend to. So thank you, Liz, and we will see you back on the show later. I think she's gonna be back early next week to talk about F1. So yeah, if you guys are in the chat, just say your goodbye to Liz. We are gonna be here for a while longer, I'm sure, but we'll see Liz back on the show really, really soon. Thank you again, Liz, for taking all the time. We talked about a bunch of Superman earlier. We're talking more Superman now. So let's start off with another behind-the-scenes featurette that they recently put out. Now, this particular one, let me kind of pull this up here. This is actually an exclusive from Entertainment Tonight. So that's where I originally found it. Then, of course, they put it up on YouTube. It's a little bit easier to browse here, so I'm going to open up the YouTube version. John, we got a little more of a look at some of the footage, of them filming the movie, including, of course, it looks like they're doing this in Cleveland or Cincinnati, where they've got part of the T-Craft there, and Lois and Clark having a conversation there, and then you've got some fire trucks in the background. You get to see more of that. There's an interview here with David Cornsweet before he shaved most of his hair off. Some more clips from the movie itself that we have seen in the trailers. Then we get to see Lex Luthor and Clark Kent, of course, hug it out behind the scenes. We see the crew in Norway when they were filming those scenes. John, I don't know if you have had a chance to see this, but it's a newsy clip, but they do give us some new footage, some insights that we haven't seen before, more interviews with the cast of the movie. Your thoughts on this featurette, if you want to call it that?
I love seeing the behind the scenes stuff of people like filming for these featurettes and stuff like that. And here we see bald Nicholas Hoult, like right after the movie or during the movie. So that's nice to see. Whoa, voice crack. Hello. I'm sorry about that. Jesus. Wow. Teenager. Hello. So I think that was kind of fun. But yeah, I thought this was from what I've seen of it, a good little featurette. I love the behind the scenes. I think that's so it's like it gives in a peek in. And I know everyone has been complaining about James Gunn being part of the marketing, but like honestly, I think directors should be part of the marketing, showcasing the person behind everything. I think directors should be, and I'm not saying that as here's the thing. I'm all for privacy as much as I can. So like I like to be the guy behind the camera because everyone cares about the actors. They don't care about the people behind the camera, and I get to have my privacy. However, even with that, I think like I think directors should be like, hey, this is the guy that's behind everything, and like be part of that, pop culture zeitgeist of like, I know there are people that like know directors like Martin Scorsese and stuff like that, but like I feel like it's an important part of part of the in the know of like who made all this. And you're muted, Dan. So I just think
Sorry, I was just gonna,
I just think that's interesting.
I'm okay with
I don't know.
it.
I like all this stuff.
I love the look that they're giving us here of the Fortress of Solitude. They had multiple sets. You see multiple people wearing those tracking marker suits, so probably standing in for all the different versions of the robots we see. The whole process of making movies of this size and scale, like they had multiple sets for this. They shot it in Atlanta. They shot some stuff outdoors in Norway. They've mixed in all the pieces together. You could see the cinematography for the movie. The way they shot this is so different from any other Superman movie we have seen before. They also talked about how the Reeves family is involved, and they've got their approval. And Will Reeve was interviewed. Of course, he's got a cameo in the movie. And I love the scale of the film, the sets that they're building here. This is truly, again, the biggest priority for, of course, DC and Warner Brothers Discovery at large. And there were some really cool quotes from the Will Reeve in this as well. And the sets do look great, like Marco said, and as I was mentioning earlier. And yeah, Frankie G, you're right, because Warner Brothers has always been known as the director's studio, like, historically speaking, until that whole, kerfuffle where they completely, wrecked that relationship that they had with all their filmmakers during the pandemic in the AT&T era. Warner Brothers historically has been known as the director-friendly studio. It's a very auteur-friendly studio.
I mean, look at Sinners. They're kind of getting Bong Joon-ho.
And they're getting back into that. I mean, they want to get Nolan back. They would love to have Denis Villeneuve stick around, but I mean,
well, I mean, with Denis Villeneuve, I mean, it looks like,
but he wasn't happy with as well. Yeah, well, I mean, he might be tied up there, but he's gonna be part of the Dune franchise even when he's not directing. Yes. And yeah, they have Bong Joon-ho now in their portfolio, and he's doing stuff. Stanley Kubrick did pretty much every movie in his entire career over at Warner Brothers, right? So, and Nolan up until the last couple of movies that he's done, he was there. So for the entirety of his career. So, yeah. Yeah, Marco, the photos from this featurette are pretty good, because I love to see all of how the magic happens on the movie set, and you get to see that here. There's a few more photos I can get into. These are two of the many that I found online. People took stills from the featurette. Again, I just love the scale of the Fortress of Solitude. Of course, they're gonna do some CGI set extensions to this, and we've seen that in the trailers. I also want to say that David Cornsweet is just constantly proving himself to be a chameleon, because depending on the different lighting or the angle that we see him from or the hairstyle, the dude looks like completely different people. And I'm never gonna get tired of the fact that they chose a guy who can blend in the crowd as well as he does, and then yet have the iconic jawline and just a great smile, of course, and he's got the personality and the voice to boot. So, and he's a nerd. He's a Star Wars fan. I mean, I love this particular version of Superman now that we've been talking about it for so long. The suit has grown on me. I know they're probably going to make changes and have a different version, if not all that different, maybe slightly modified for the sequel. James Gunn said that himself. But like Ron, I think the suit has grown on me, bulge or otherwise. I'm starting to like it more and more.
I don't hate it. Trunks, Kingdom Come, awesome. The color scheme, great. It's just, again, the fucking cape looks weird to me. I hate the collar, and I don't like the Marvel lines. They're now known as the Marvel lines, where they're just like over designed to hell.
Well, it's also this is a James Gunn thing, right? He's done it for all his Guardians movies, so Yeah, I mean, it might grow on you when you watch the movie. Who knows? But the other thing I wanted to get into quickly, because we do have more Superman later, but I wanted to kind of quickly pivot. This is still Superman related, but John, I've mentioned here before on the show that they have this newsletter over on Instagram for the Superman Instagram account. You can go in there, and it's a broadcast channel. It's essentially the Daily Planet newsletter, and as part of that, they share new updates every day. And one of the things they shared today was a look at some more fan art. And again, you're seeing so much fantastic fan art here. I love it. It looks fantastic. Pardon the pun. But and yeah, I mean, as far as the suit goes, the spandex look is not really something that James Gunn likes himself. So I'm okay with that.
No, I get that. I'm not saying it has to be spandex. Yeah. I'm just saying I hate the lines. Just get rid of the lines and it'd be like, if I had one thing to like, out of the three things I don't like, if I had to get rid of one thing, get rid of the lines. I hate the lines. That, like, I can live with the collar. I can even live with the kind of weird cape. It's just the lines are just, I just hate them. I hate them. I know. I just see. I'm not totally glazing this movie. Yash or 5-Ash or wherever the fuck you guys are.
Well, 5-Ash was here earlier, and then Fiona was in the chat, and she had to take some moderator action because 5-Ash
was being a gross human being like he usually is. So,
but I do love this fan art though. Fantastic fan art. You see more of the engineer here, Krypto, robot number 4, which probably not long for this world. The other thing that they posted, this is from I think yesterday or 2 days ago, was an article by Christopher McDonald's Ron Troop, talking about Luthor Corp, inside Luthor Corp's ties to Mayor Buck Sackett. I wonder how that's going to play out, because so far we did not hear of a character called Mayor Buck Sackett, but this is the first time hearing of it, at least. And maybe Luthor has some dealings on the political world of Metropolis as well. If you may let me, I'm gonna read the article here. It's very short, but Ron Troop writes, as the political reporter at the Daily Planet, as the Senate race nears, Metropolis residents are growing suspicious of frontrunner and current mayor Buck Sackett's relationship with Lex Luthor. Often referred to by his running mates as Luthor's puppet, many worry the mayor's personal ties may impact the funding and legislative priorities, I should say. After all, it is the citizens of Metropolis that need support, not the billion-dollar tech company. John, we're getting maybe more corporate, overlords sort of a theme. Ron Troop,
I mean, that's,
pointing out Luthor might have some hand.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have Lex Luthor as the villain, it's like, it's always been like kind of that vibe of, ever since the 80s, like he has been like a commentary on like the most popular like millionaire, billionaire at the time. I mean, in the 80s, he, like, John Burns straight up said he was an allegory for who, the man currently in the White House. And then in the 90s, I think it was like Steve Jobs. And then in the 2000s, it was like Elon Musk. And then it became Mark Zuckerberg. It was always like a parallel to who like the biggest like millionaire, billionaire was at the time. And it's going to be brought up. It's going to be said, but it's like, I feel like James Gunn is like, it's going to be more nuanced. He's going to play it carefully, where it's not going to be like overly like a certain way. So I'm just gonna say it's an obvious thing when you have Lex Luthor as the villain,
Right. Yeah. I do like this look at the glasses, the aviators. After all, John, we have some aviators to match. Maybe not as cool as the blue and
not as cool
bronze.
Not as cool,
but still, you could take that to the house. Yeah, we also don't have as much money as Lex Luthor does. But then again, Lex Luthor's not real. So take that, Lex. Anyway. Frankie G popping in the emoji in the chat. There we go. Symbolically joining in on the glasses, the sunglasses parade. The movie would be better if Lex was directly Trump reference, but I understand why James Gunn won't do that. No, Ron, I mean, I hear you. I don't think James Gunn wants to get so directly political. He understands the allegory is there, but he does not want to make it so that this is going to all of a sudden become a political conversation. The last thing we want is this movie to be mired in politics. But yeah, Ron Troop is just one of several people who is going to be working at the Daily Planet. And we get to see a lot of the Daily Planet crew, certainly a lot more than we got to see, at least in a very different way than what we got to see in Man of Steel. And you know, their role was completely minimized by the time we got to Batman v Superman and Justice League, where they were barely a part of it. So, yeah. Sorry, I dropped off for a second there. I'm back.
Okay, I was like, oh god, what do I need?
All right, the next thing we need to do is dive into some Supergirl news, which it's a bit of a report. It's not so much confirmed yet, but I think it kind of lines up with what we already know. And I'll tell you which scooper this comes from in a second. But there was a rumor, of course, we've sort of thought about this for a long time, that Krypto is Supergirl's dog, not Superman's dog. We have seen David Cornsweet talk about in one of the media interviews that he's fostering. You know, Clark is fostering Krypto. So he doesn't really say much more than that, but James Gunn was in the room when he said it. So obviously James Gunn approves of that, and that is the plan. So we've all been kind of speculating that Krypto is Kara's dog, is Supergirl's dog, and maybe while she's away that, you know, he's hanging out with Clark with Superman. But obviously Superman, you know, Clark Kent Kal-El loves Krypto anyway. But here, according to My Time to Shine, they say that Krypto, the beloved Superdog, will appear in Superman 2025. He's also rumored to play a touching role in Supergirl starting from his earliest days on Krypton. So they go on to talk about here that the two of them grew up together on Krypton before it was destroyed. So you will get to see a puppy version of Krypto with Supergirl in flashback sequences. That is the rumor. And they're expected to show a young Kara Zor-El bonding with her puppy just before their homeworld is destroyed. And this emotional setup will be used more than just nostalgia. The idea would be that it could become a powerful symbol of the lost innocence of Kara Zor-El and the early trauma that she's still trying to get over. And I mean, honestly, like to say here, if that is true, Krypto's presence could really anchor, you know, the emotional heart of not just Superman, but also Supergirl, whether it's through dreams or flashbacks, emotional callbacks, or even, you know, we get to see Supergirl reunite with Krypto at some point in the movie. That would be really, really great. John, what are your thoughts on this? Because again, we have sort of speculated for a long time, but it looks like this might be the direction they're headed in. I mean, other than the fact that this is coming from a scooper where they may or may not get it right, I feel like based on what we know, the pieces fit together. So what do you think?
I feel like that makes sense. It's just I'm intrigued with how Supergirl will come in to it all. Like, so does Supergirl take place during Superman, like the events of Superman? Because, like, does she like crash on Earth? Like stuff happens. Like maybe she's kept like private and stuff like that, and then she's like, "Oh, Clark or Kal-El or whatever, I have to leave my dog with you. I have to." You know, go off and blah 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 and do that. But the thing is, I also know from what Lenny told us way back when that Krypto was in the comics. So I don't know if they're just
Ron is saying
changing that for the film.
He was in Woman of Tomorrow.
I don't know.
It is an adaptation, so they don't have to follow it to a T.
Obviously, you know, things change. It's just like you have Krypto in the universe, and you have it in the comics, so it's like it kind of works. So might as well, make it work.
Hugo, we did talk about that report that the WB logo won't be at the beginning of the movie; it will be DC Studios. We did talk about that on yesterday's show. But yeah, I mean, you're right, John. They did. James Gunn himself, I think, has mentioned that, you know, these are adaptations. We're not expecting them to be exact replicas of the comics. Tom King is involved, and so the writers are part of it, so they can sort of inform the decisions on whether they're making some changes or not. I personally haven't finished that comic, so I couldn't tell you, you know, exactly how involved Krypto is going to be. But even then, they might change things up a little bit because, they have Lobo in the movie. Lobo's not in the comics, so but even though he was originally intended to be, so yeah. I mean, it is a good way of explaining why Krypto wasn't in the ship with Soups. It also could be that there's more, like, you know, this is in a situation where Clark would be meeting Kara for the first time, right? Like they might have, this world, when we pick it up, has already been in motion for a long time. And the fact that it might give us a puppy Krypto, that alone, like Marco Ramos, I am going to be very excited to see that when we get Supergirl next year. But yeah, in general, I feel like what we're getting here is probably Supergirl has been around on Earth for a while, and then she just goes on this cosmic adventure to celebrate her 21st birthday. And as part of that, we'll get to learn more of her past. And then while she's away from this adventure, like you said, John, maybe it takes place at the same time as the events of Superman, which we know only take place over the course of a few days anyway. So it's not like it's a long time in the world of this movie. But yeah, it will potentially all tie back together because Supergirl probably already has been living on Earth, and Clark and Kara already know each other, and so she just left her dog with Clark and that's what we see in the movie. I think that all makes sense. Like Marco's saying, Clark, I'm going on a girls trip. Please watch out for my dog. Perfect. That's all there needs to be. Yeah. So I can't wait to see how that turns out. Yeah, it does remove the idea of using Krypto as a test subject. I don't know if that's the direction they're going to go in. James cares about animals too much, and he's already done that and made us cry in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I do not need to see more of that. But guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about that Supergirl report. Do you believe that we're going to get a young puppy Krypto in Supergirl? And, indeed that makes Krypto Supergirl's dog, Kara's dog. And of course, we've seen David Cornswet mention himself that Clark is just fostering Krypto. So maybe he's just holding on to him and taking care of him while Kara is away. With that in mind, John, we have to now get into more of that Superman stuff I promised earlier, because the marketing for this movie continues, as does the world tour. And on this world tour, the latest stop, the second stop after Manila, has been Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And we talked about it yesterday. We do have more stuff today because they were wrapping up their time in Rio and moving on to the next destination. So as they do that, I picked out a bunch of photos and videos. You can see they were parked here in Rio doing
is James
a panel
flipping
interview.
off the audience? What
I think he's doing either a snap or that's like an anime
just for a hot sec. I thought it looked like he was like kind of going like this.
Rachel is doing the hard, and then I guess David has just got his arms crossed.
I had to give it to him stance just to...
Let's see, what is the translation here? Rio, we are in love with you. Sugar bread has never tasted so good. We will talk about that in a little bit. This looks great.
I gotta say,
I want to be there.
It
looks warm. It looks perfect.
Don't talk to me about warm. Do not with this fucking weather.
I said warm, not hot. It's way too hot.
I'm just no. I don't want anything above fucking 60 degrees. Like no, I don't want to hear people talk about it. But I was in a nice cold theater. I'm in my nice cold house. I was in a nice cold car. Yeah, beautiful. Anyway. Also,
I feel bad for David Cornswet. He's gonna wear a suit.
Looks good today. It looks good. Way better. Looking good. I like the vibe. I like the jeans and the loafers. All perfect. I like the old school kind of fit that like James Gunn has too. And Rachel Brosnahan always looks amazing no matter what. So, but they're all looking
James
good.
Gunn. I love the shirt.
10 out of 10 on the fashion, guys.
Yes. And Derek Cornswet, I feel bad that he's the only guy who's got to wear like 3 layers. He's got an undershirt, a shirt on top, and then the suit jacket. Although it looks like it's really light material, but like whereas Richard Brosnahan's wearing a pretty short dress, and James Gunn is wearing loafers and shit, like he's pretty casual. Cornswet has to kind of wear something a bit more formal. So yeah, hopefully he's staying cool in all of that. But hey, today we got to see another promo. They posted another teaser. This one focused more on Lois Lane, and we see that they head off to save Superman. There's this really wonderful line with Steve Lombard is like, why don't I have a seat in this? And he's like trying to put his belt on, because wherever he's sitting in there, it's not actually on a seat in the T-Craft. He's just got to buckle in somehow and hope for the best. Look, he's like, why don't I have a seat? I just have to park myself on the ground, whereas everybody else is parked on chairs and buckled into this and strapped.
I love it. It's just Steve Lombard's gonna be good comic relief in this film. So,
and it really does put into context where in the movie this might be happening, because it looks like after Superman is arrested, they go out and try to rescue him, and while Superman's getting tortured by Lex's goons.
It's good to see, because it's like showcasing the idea of like the big tough guy who's really just a fucking little bitch boy. Like, love it.
Yeah, I love this promo. Very much focused on Lois Lane and the Daily Planet crew. Getting back to that same Rio conversation though, James Gunn and the crew pointing the camera right back at the fans and the press. You know, it didn't take long to figure out who the real superheroes are, and it's that doggy. That doggy stole the show. Best part of the Rio stop. Best part of it all the way around. So that can throwing scene has different camera angle now. Yes, they did change it up. You're right, because in that promo, we are getting it slightly more off. It's slightly more off to the side. I'm sure they shot it multiple times, and I know they have been experimenting with different takes, so maybe that's what it is. But then again, we have, John, more of that Milkbone promo, so you can now get the limited edition Milkbone times Superman box. So if you do go and get some doggy treats, and if your doggy likes Milkbone, then you can get the one with Krypto on the box, which sounds amazing. Dude, it is exhausting, and while it's fun, I bet you they're probably not getting a ton of sleep. So they're enjoying themselves, but they're gonna be wrecked when they're back home and hopefully looking forward to sleeping in their own bed. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, but they're gonna be putting a lot of miles on their bodies doing this. But good for them. I mean, you know, David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and James Gunn seem to be the common denominators across the two stops so far. Peter Safran was there in Manila. He wasn't at least there for all the photo ops in Rio. I wonder. I think their next stop is meant to be. Is it Paris or London? I should keep
I
this
don't
handy.
remember.
Let's see. Where's the graphic? So the next stop is London, the July 2nd. So now they get a bit of a break because June 23rd is when they arrived in Rio. They spent a couple of days there, but now on July 2nd is when they're gonna head to London or be in London. So they get a bit of a week off, which is great. I mean, traveling back across the Atlantic, maybe they can go back home for a few days even. So this, though, John, was probably one of the best things I saw all day, because it's literally them recreating the Full House intro, and so I was like, everywhere you like the whole song. I watched this thing back 5 times. I'm like, we should do one of these for our show. It looked fantastic. It's like, it's just a familiar crew, and the lyrics of the song, it all goes together. The smile from Wendell Pierce's Perry White looks amazing. I can watch this all day. This is one of the best things I saw.
I love this. And I love Cinemark. Where do we submit our resume? Oh my god, I know them.
Yep.
God,
everywhere you look, everywhere you go, there's a heart and a hand to hold on to. I love the awkward smiles.
He nailed it.
It's great.
Fucking David Cornsweet nailed it the best. Like, the thing is, some people are a little bit too melodramatic, but he actually nailed not the ironic part of it, just the genuine.
Even Steve Lombard here, he looks like Uncle Joey. Whereas David Cornsweet probably looks like a Bob Saget.
Motherfucker, if I got paid the amount of money, I would sit fucking through everything and not even come on. They're getting paid millions, at least thousands, way more than my fucking salary right now. So I'll suck it up and just do constant promotion, whatever.
I like Jimmy Olsen here too. Skylar Gazondo doing a great job. Who do you think did the best pose for this?
Oh, no. David Cornsweet did. Although I do like Steve Lombard.
Steve Lombard is great. Wendell Pierce, too, giving that little smile.
That was
White. Good. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love this. Yes, exactly, Frankie. This promotion is getting us hyped. We talk about it 5 days a week. I feel like I know this movie inside out. I probably have very unrealistic expectations of the movie at this point, but I cannot love this more. So I know that guy with the movie camera was on set, and it looks like this is what they came up with together when he showed up on set for a day or two. So, yeah. Cat Grant looking dainty. Yeah, the weirdest part about her is she's clearly wearing a wig because her blonde wig doesn't match the black eyebrows. So, anywho, but this was great. I can watch this on repeat all day, quite frankly. But anyway, we got to move on to the next
thing. Do this all day.
I could do this all day, exactly. They did put out another little thing here. It's your daily act of heroism. Rachel Brosnahan was like, I could use a latte. Cornsweet is like, sure, here you go. And they couldn't keep a straight face throughout, though. This was fun too. They keep posting 9 of these different clips every day, so they're keeping us busy. They're keeping us on our toes. And then, of course, this was part of the Rio stop. Sao de Brazil, and James Gunn could just never get the pronunciation right. They couldn't keep a straight face. There's like 8 takes of this, and they couldn't get it right. Yeah, David does have a pretty good pose in that Full House promo. That looked pretty gosh darn sweet. Yeah. It's I think it's Sauchi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Like David keeps telling James Gunn how to say it.
Don't ask me. I'm horrible with foreign
Sauchi
languages.
Brazil. I don't know. I listened to this like 5 times over, but there we go. Okay, all right. Moving on to the next thing. We do have Welcome to the Daily Planet behind the scenes featurette that they put out in addition to the one we were just talking about from Entertainment Tonight. This one showing more of the Daily Planet crew and the desk of Lois Lane. Perry White giving us more insight. You got Steve Lombard there. Whatever he says, I'll do it. We get an introduction to Jimmy. Of course, Clark Kent walking around. That shot we've seen before. More footage from all the behind the scenes. Loving it. It seems like they were just all having a lot of fun time filming this movie, clearly. So yeah, Jordan, it does look great. It looks fantastic even. They do, so usually it's part of their contract, so there has to be some level of compensation associated with that. Although I bet you they don't get paid as much as you think they might, because the tour, I mean, yeah, I'm sure their expenses are taken care of. But it is part of their deal when they sign up to the movie that they're going to be part of the promotion. So that's definitely part of that. Marco saying don't drink too much of that. Yes, noted. I mean, Marco's from Portugal, so he knows a thing or two about Sauchi. So there you go. And then of course they speak, Brazil as national language is also Portuguese. So anyway, moving on to the next thing. They did put up some photos here. James Gunn did, thanking everybody over at Rio, saying thanks for everything, Rio, for your kindness, your warmth, your food, your passion, and especially for the blessed hour I spent in the botanical garden surrounded by wild capuchin monkeys that we were talking about yesterday, John. So James Gunn saying goodbye to Rio, but also thanking everybody there for being so gracious in welcoming him. Of course, you said this sign that somebody brought to the red carpet event was the highlight of the trip. James, we like you, but we love Ozu. So that's definitely part of it.
I remember talking about these yesterday or the other day, but yeah, good.
The capuchin
good
monkeys. Oh God, so cute.
Still has more brain cells than a Snyder cultist.
Yep. Oh God, Brazil is a absolutely beautiful country. Look at this. Like the views are amazing. I'm like, this is what they had for a couple of days. Like I gotta go to Brazil sometime. Absolutely. Ron is like, I don't like David's new look. Well, I mean, he's probably getting ready for a movie, or like he just wants to keep it short for the tour. But hey, what about Nicholas Holt's look? He was on the cover of Empire Focus, John. It's not just Rachel Brosnahan doing magazine covers. I mean, we saw David Cornsword was on the cover of People magazine recently, and now we see Nicholas Hoult, Born to be Bad, on the Empire Focus cover. This goes along with a major new interview and a digital photo cover shoot.
Guys, come on, we're trying to be like in this point of like, oh, look at this good guy, this good hopeful guy, and then you just bringing out the villains with this like drip and like just looking insanely, just to put it bluntly, insanely fuckable. Like it's just like my man is looking like he's ready to like breed bitches. Like god damn. God. Like we're supposed to like
DCU
have like
Daily
the
After Dark has
like,
kicked in.
part of like, oh, this wonder, and then they're like, okay, no, the guy who's playing the villain in this upcoming movie, let's give him like just like this dude just drops panties in his fucking free time. Like, look at this. I'm glad Lizz isn't here. I'm pretty sure she would just unload on camera, because like, goddamn, I'm ready to probably got like gonna have something going on later. Like, Jesus Christ, this is looking great. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. I can't yell right now. It's fucking midnight, but look at this. Like,
I like that.
Empire is cooking with this. Like, god damn. He's gonna be turning straight bros gay with this goddamn model shoot. Like, holy fucking shit. Is it hot in here? Like, damn.
I don't know.
And I love how it's green because it's like the kryptonite and all that. Yeah, so that works too. Yeah. Like, shit, what are the comments saying? I'm like, I can't be the only one who's just like looking at this insane drip right now. Like, No, okay, I'm the only fucking weird horny one. All right, fine, whatever.
Hold on, let me scroll far enough down. You might get some stuff. There you go, man. The last picture hits harder. Oh my god, what a great season. You're the only one. Beautiful pictures. There we go. Yep, took somebody's breath away. Exceptionally amazing. Thanks for the thank you for the chuckle. He can be anything he wants to be. There you go. A lot of people just giving him a lot of praise. Yeah, there you go. That definitely looks like some Neo like gear that he's wearing in the last picture. Yeah. Nicholas, I love you. There you go. Okay, see all the love. Oh, he's getting all the love. You're damn gorgeous. Already better than all the past Lex Luthors. He looks much better than without blue furs. There is no sweeter nor goofier, but okay. So beautiful. The dude is always studly. There you go. See, John, there's a few people fawning over that. Frankie's like, pause. Let's take a look at this and let's admire this. The Matrix energy, absolutely. Blade Runner energy. Yep. Agree with you there. He does look great. Marco saying it's nothing too bad, but they're joking about his gray hair. What gray hair? I don't see any gray hair. I don't know, Ron. He does not look weird. He looks pretty dang good here. I like it. I like it. This is great. We gotta collect. You know what? We could do a tier list on all the magazine covers we have seen for the promotion of this movie, and I feel like there will be like, you know, the ones that David Cornsweet has done, the one Rachel Brosnahan has done, and of course Nicholas Hoult has done, including the one where Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsweet were together. Remember that one? Liz was fawning over that one for a while.
Oh yeah.
He does not look like a lizard, John. Stop with your conspiracy theories. He's very, yes, I mean, it's a reptilian like texture or whatever. It's fine. I like that leather jacket actually. I love it. Anyway, moving on to the next thing. If it loads, that is. What else do we have left to go? Oh yes, let me see if I can get this clip loaded here, because I really love what we saw. I think this was Perry White, aka Wendell Pierce. He went on the Kelly Clarkson's show. Of course, we've already seen Rachel Brosnahan did that, and then we got Perry White. I keep calling him Perry White, but yeah, Wendell Pierce of Jack Ryan fame. He was on the show. He looked pretty gosh darn good doing this. Let's see. Did I even load this up? Let me load it up again. I don't know if it loaded up properly, but I mean, it looks great. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. This is actually a fan edit. Okay, this is not the clip that I thought it was, but this is a fan edit from somebody just putting all the Superman clips together and tuning it to one of the songs from the soundtrack of Black Panther. I'm gonna see if I can find that Kelly Clarkson
choice.
Clip. Yeah, it's the I'm not gonna recite it, but what's his name? Wendell Pierce, Kelly Clarkson. Because he's like, you know, look, I grew up this like serious actor and stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, you get on the set of Superman and it's like, it's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's Superman, and you really get to see, you know, the deep voice of Wendell Pierce as well. I thought this was fantastic. So if you guys haven't seen this yet, go ahead and check this out, because he talks about also how Wendell Pierce came up through you know, Loyola University in New Orleans, and so he, you know, he was studying acting and did a bit of journalism as well, and he had a show on the local news station there as well. So yeah, this looked fantastic, and then he's like, you know, you step onto a big set like Superman, and all of a sudden, you know, you have to get this like be all melodramatic and everything, and whereas he studied as this like really serious actor, and the work, and like he's done shows like I said, Jack Ryan, where he's playing a serious role. Of course, he's playing a senator in the MCU.
Watched that show and said he was fantastic, along with John Krasinski.
He's great in it, and I'm gonna be seeing the last season of that show. I think it's already out, right? So I love Wendell Pierce and Jack Ryan with John Krasinski. John Krasinski way better an actor in that than The Fountain of Youth. But anyway, so
you know, we can all have a few stinkers throughout our lifetime. I mean, you know, Tom Hanks was in like Joe versus the Volcano, and like, you know, Robin Williams had God knows how many. Who's another really good? Daniel Day-Lewis probably had Gangs of New York. Like, I mean, you know, they've all had a bad movie, and you know, that was John Krasinski's. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Still, such a waste of time. Holy cow! I've never seen a more talented group of actors phone it in for a movie than they did in Fountain of Youth. I cannot tell you how disappointed I was. Yeah, John Krasinski could have been a good. I don't know. Maybe I don't think he's willing to commit to a franchise like that. He's too interested in directing his own stuff to do that. So yeah. But I mean, watching Wendell Pierce here, like, completely emoting the way that he just doesn't get to do in a lot of his shows, like The Wire and stuff like that, or even Jack Ryan. We're gonna see a very different version of him in Superman than even what we've been seeing in the MCU. He was in Thunderbolts, so he's currently playing both sides. He's in Marvel and DC, one of the very few actors doing it simultaneously. So yeah, I do hope we get to see more of the Daily Planet crew beyond just Superman, John. Because that was something that, like I mentioned, like Man of Steel, we had quite a presence from the Daily Planet crew, but then we got to BVS, and it was basically minimized to a point where Lawrence Fishburne's Perry White was basically a caricature of himself from Man of Steel. Water, wet, crime, Gotham. I'm like, okay, that's all we got. That's the best he can do. And then by the time we got to Justice League, we didn't even get any of those characters anymore. So I hope we get to see more of the Daily Planet crew moving forward, because that would be awesome. I can't wait to see that, especially considering the actors they've cast here. So yeah. But anyway, John, this was fantastic. We have seen so many different takes. I think probably the best thing that we saw today from Superman promotion is not even the man himself. It's Nicholas Hoult for Empire Focused. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, that seemed like the best part of it, but all of it is very good and very fun and very great. So that's all we can really hope for, because we're all pumped for this movie, and the more there is, then I ain't getting sick of it. I know people are sick of it, but I'm not sick of it. Like, we're seeing so much, and it's just like I will put all of the encapsulation of how I feel. They're treating Superman like what he should be treated as, in terms he shouldn't be like, oh, this other thing we have, and like, oh, Batman, which, don't get me wrong, I love Batman.
Batman will always get the attention. He's gonna be the most popular character in DC stable.
But it's like they're
giving
they're like, after years and years of like kind of not secondary stuff, but it's like, okay, we've gotten a lot of great TV shows with him. Yes, respect, obviously. We've gotten a lot of great TV shows with him, but it's like, no, we're finally giving him the proper big budget treatment he deserves, and we're gonna surround the world with Superman. So like, that's what he deserves, and I'm glad that they were doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Superman deserves respect, and it looks like this movie is gonna give him that. Exactly. And not just Superman, but all the other characters in the world of Metropolis and the Daily Planet, and even beyond that with all the metahumans we're gonna get to see. So it looks amazing. The movie looks amazing, and the marketing just doesn't stop. So I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow with a lot more to talk about, and the day after that. And then Friday show, we'll have your comments, lots of Q&A stuff. We have a few comments we saved from last week. We have more comments from this week. So you guys make sure, if you have a question, if you have a theory, or if you have a suggestion, just drop it in the comments down below. Also, what do you want to do for Tier List Tuesday next week? Do you want to do another Superman thing? I mean, another Superman marketing thing? Maybe we do all the magazine covers. We tier list those. Maybe we run it back with film composers. There was so much kerfuffle around that, not a lot of agreement. Maybe we'll do that again. But you guys are welcome to get in the comments and let us know about that. And yeah, Enterprising, we do all hope this movie will prove haters wrong and be something of a masterpiece when it's all said and done. Very well put, very well said. And with that, I think we'll call it a night. We've been here for almost 3 hours. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button on the way out. We really, really, really appreciate you guys for being a part of the show each and every day. Hit the subscribe button if you're new, and if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, because John and I will be back with you the next couple of days, and we'll be talking more Superman. We'll dive into, I'm sure there'll be more coming from the world of James Bond, with Denis Villeneuve becoming the next director for the franchise under Amazon MGM Studios leadership. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about any new trailers we get from Superman. Now there's a bit of a break here, like a week-long break before they get to London. So I'm sure they'll be putting out more new footage. John, I think you weren't on the show, but we talked about there was more footage in the China trailer. There's a new poster out there. So I'm sure we'll get more of that. We will dive into more Ultraman theories. But with all that and so much more, thank you guys for watching us. Like Enterprising is saying, look up, folks. Don't lose hope. Dreams save us. We're all part of the same team. Thank you for a great episode, says Jordan. Tier list best Superman actors. That's something we can definitely do. And I think that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Enterprising. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Manolo. Thank you, Steven. Thank you to Liz for being on the show earlier. Thank you to everybody who was watching. If I forgot your name, if I didn't mention it, we had a few new names in the chat as well. Of course, Sam Emmanuel was here. Steven Ortega was here. We had Alex in the chat. We had Jack. I mean, I saw a couple of new names. Just Some Geeky Guy dropped in. So many of you guys. As per always, if I missed your name, I'm sorry, but we will see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, John, thank you for taking the time for stopping by. You'll get your thoughts on
I didn't think I'd
tomorrow.
make it, but I'm like,
yeah,
perfect time. You're like Connecticut representative. I'm like, hi.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly. Well, guys, we'll see you tomorrow on another episode of DCU Daily. And in the meantime, don't forget to look up.